September.
Brain don't stop. Brain don't
Skeptalk.
stop.
Yeah, puppy.
Brain don't stop. 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 Brain don't stop.
Thank you.
Brain don't stop.
Hello, welcome to Chewed Gum. Today is August 25th, a Tuesday, as usual. And this is a show about rejecting purity culture, challenging misogyny, and the effects of religious trauma on women. My name is Alyssa.
And I'm Taylor, and I'm pissed. I'm
What?
pissed. I'm pissed that
Why?
Dolly Parton died before Trump. I'm so annoyed.
Oh, I
I'm
know.
so annoyed that like taking everybody but him. What?
Everyone but fucking him.
This is why
It's
the
so,
Christian God sucks. If he's real, I mean,
oh my
what the
God.
fuck?
I know. I know. There's like been so many really hard-hitting deaths, I feel like, in the
Yeah.
past year. And I can't get down with, I don't know. It's like, I don't really have a hard time justifying death, but like, are you fucking serious? Dolly
Right.
Parton, really?
Right. Right. No,
Could
I
have
know.
been anyone else.
And it's ironic because I have a trip planned for like in October to go to Tennessee because me and my family always went to Dollywood
Hmm.
and that's where I'm going and I'm like that's so random because I haven't been there in years but I'm like it's so sad. I don't
It is
know.
really sad.
It's
It's really
just
sad. And oh, sorry, I'm opening up our our YouTube chat in YouTube.
oh
I what's it called? I don't know. I'm tired, guys. My brain is a little slow. But there was something else I was gonna bring up to you. What the hell was it? Oh, did you see the Callaway Golf ad?
yes. It's weird. Why did they do that? Like I'm sorry but they had to have seen the response coming. How could they not?
I don't know. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, it is so bizarre. It's a man, well, it's a woman who's going to golf and goes to like pick up a driver, like one of the golf clubs, and and a guy like runs after her. He's like, "Don't touch my driver." Runs after her and pushes her, like shoves her down, and then stands over her and is like, "Don't touch my driver."
It's like how many people had to approve it until it like got out there? That's what
I
blows
know.
my mind is like maybe that's not. I also feel like the whole thing of how like DV what's the right way to say this? Like DV happens a lot in relation to sports and like men
Mm-hmm.
getting angry over sports. So I feel like it's even worse. It's really bizarre that that's what they chose to go with. I don't understand it
I
at
know.
all.
I know. Well, they pulled the ad, thank goodness. Like
Oh, they
someone on the
did?
team. Yeah, they pulled the ad. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over the internet. So like, and
Yeah,
it's also unfortunate because ultimately, first of all, it's already out there. And second of all, I'm sure there's going to be like tons of men who watch it who are like, it's a joke. You can
right.
laugh because it's a joke.
It also just wasn't even funny. Like, I don't know. It was just
No.
weird. Like,
It
it
was
wasn't
really
even
weird.
comical in any kind of way, really.
I also, after he shoves her down, have you seen like what he does after?
Um,
Because he like
he's like standing
freaks
over
out.
her.
Yeah, he
Or some-
stands over her and then he's like continuing to have a meltdown, and like walks over to his group of friends and his friends are like, no, 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 dude, no, no, no. Like it's so
No, I didn't even see that part.
bizarre.
That's
Yeah, it's
so
really weird.
weird.
It's really weird. I don't know why,
You know,
how
it's
that could have
funny.
possibly gotten approved.
It's funny because up until a couple years ago, I didn't realize how angry people got when golfing.
Hmm.
And I randomly saw it one time and I was like, what the fuck?
I
Like, it's
can't understand
crazy.
it.
Like the actual rage they get and like
I know.
smashing things or like breaking something like a golf club. I'm like, that is just so over the top
I
to
know. It's
me.
so crazy. It's so crazy.
It really
Um,
is.
well, we actually have people who are calling in already. We have two people actually on hold, I think. Or maybe not. We have one maybe on hold so far. Um, I think you're muted, Taylor. Oh no, never mind. You're not muted. You guys, I looked at the YouTube and so the YouTube is like a little bit behind. So it's you talking and I was like, why don't I hear her?
That's okay. It's
Oh
okay.
Lord,
We'll make it through.
we'll
We'll
make
make
it
it
through. We'll
through.
make it through. I'm in a little like rental house
It
because
looks so nice in there.
it is really nice and it's we're very lucky. Kevin, because he travels for work all the time, he'll do like home exchange. And so
Oh.
he gets all these points on this like home exchange program. And so we didn't have to like pay for this out of pocket. It's just like part of his like
Ooh, that's
a
nice.
really good hack, a really good hack in life.
That is
Um,
really nice.
yeah, but anyways, I did not sleep so good. Actually, I had really scary dreams last night. I dreamt that like I was looking in a mirror and there was like a woman behind me, but it was like sort of like walking past me really fast, so I couldn't really see her. It was really creepy and weird.
I hate nightmares because I've woken up like yelling before. You know, in a dream, I think I've said this before, but you know, when you're like, have you ever had a dream where you're trying to scream or yell and you
Mm-hmm.
can't? And
Mm-hmm.
then, like,
Mm-hmm.
in real life, you're doing it, but it doesn't even sound like a real scream. It sounds like a ah, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
weird
yeah.
and
Yeah.
awkward. But yeah, I hate that because I wake myself up just making the weirdest noises trying to scream in my dreams.
I know. It's so scary. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it also is like that at that time in the middle of the night, that's when suddenly I am the most irrational version of myself because I'm laying in bed and I'm like, this house is haunted. This house is absolutely
Yeah.
haunted and there's a ghost and I am going to get possessed. And it's like never in my
Yeah.
right mind would I think that, but that's in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. That's exactly, yeah, William in the chat, he said the house is haunted, clearly. I listen, I hope not. I
Yeah.
really hope not.
My people in my family have the weirdest things with sleep. Like I have a lot of people in my family who sleepwalk and growing up, I could hear my brother talking all night in his sleep. And then my sister has this weird thing. I looked it up and I can't remember what it is, but she'll be like awake but
Mm-hmm.
seeing something that isn't there. It's like a mixture between a dream and being awake.
Ugh. Is it like lucid dreaming?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. And it's like horrifying for her and I feel bad for her, but like I don't know, like it just seems very extreme and very, very frightening. But yeah, apparently a lot the like some people who have this think that they see demons and shit. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, that is that's like the whole thing with when people are so sure that, remember last week we had somebody call who said like, well, do you think all ghost encounters are just not real? And
Right.
well, it's like, oh, well, last night I thought I was going to be possessed. Now it's daylight, and I'm like, I was just
Right.
having a bad dream because I wasn't sleeping well. And
Right.
that's what happened in real life. And so
Right.
I don't really trust the people who want to say that they are being possessed, you know?
Do you know what show is so freaking funny? Ghost Adventures. Did you ever watch it?
I've watched many a ghost hunt show, so
Do you
I
know that
think
like Zach? I think his name is Zach. I know I'm
ghost.
gonna screw up his last name. Maybe Banks is his last name, but he's
Oh, I know exactly who this is. Yes.
he says, I mean, he's trying to be serious, I think, but he says the funniest shit. Like, there's this one where he lays down on the ground and like put an axe beside him, and he's like, "If you got murdered in this house, kill me right now," or something. It's just the funniest shit I've ever seen. But I've been like when I've needed to laugh, I go and watch that because it's actually really funny to watch.
It's funny and
It's
also it's
good.
fun. Like I want to live in a world where that stuff is real. So like I'm down for the thrill. It's sort of like when I'm watching a scary movie, I'm sold on like what is happening. Like there's some people
Hmm.
who watch movies and they're like, I know exactly where this is headed. And they're like thinking ahead of time. They're like trying to solve it. And I like can't do that. I'm like, I'm here for the ride.
Yeah.
I'm mentally exactly where you have dropped me in this story. And I probably have not thought any further than that. So like when I'm watching something like Ghost Hunters, I'm like, I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you. I heard the noise.
We saw that ghost, we saw that spirit, we heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's so
yeah.
funny. No, but I think I might have already said this before, but it's one of the reasons I actually really like scary movies is because it's one of the only movies where I'm like in it. Like I'm not thinking about literally anything else because I'm too scared.
Yeah, I know.
And
I
that's
love it
kind of a
though.
nice escape, honestly, even if
I
it's
love it.
stressful.
I love it. It's so fun. It's so fun. Well, as a reminder, super chats of $5 or more, we read at the end of the show. So if you want to support the show and the channel, you can send super chats of $5 or more. If you want to call in, we have lines open. And the phone number is 720-619-2288. And we have a web link in the description. And that's that. Oh, the last thing I was going to bring up to you is obsessed with the Lindsay Clancy trial
Hmm.
because it's just every moment of it is just unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. And recently, one of the like experts that was called by the prosecution was like he's like a therapist and started talking about mortal sin.
What the fuck does that mean? Like
He
just
was
Christian,
saying
like religious sin?
yes. He talked about mortal how suicide is mortal sin. And
Oh
so
my
maybe that's why
God.
she didn't want to do it. Can you
The,
imagine?
oh my gosh, the idea that suicide is a sin is so backwards, I can't even explain it. And that's how I was taught growing up is that suicide is so selfish and those people are so, so selfish. And I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my God, we're just ignoring the main point here, which is that they're
Yeah,
mentally struggling.
I
And
know.
instead, you're criticizing them even more.
I know.
And like, it's just crazy. It's a crazy thing to me. And I know even there are Christians that are evangelical that think if you commit suicide, you go to hell. And I'm like, where does it say that?
Where does it say that? I also am confused about like the hell stuff in general because if Satan is evil and if you do evil, you get sent to hell, why would he punish you? Didn't you do what he wanted you to do?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the punishment from Satan thing is definitely from other things because that's definitely not in the Bible. It's weird how we come up with all of these ideas about what Satan and hell is, like how Satan is red, depicted as red a lot of times. That's not in the Bible either.
Yeah, I mean it's all and it's also all sort of like a mishmash of other things, which is also
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah, exactly.
oh my God. Well, let's see. Oh yeah, oh my God. everyone, like the stream.
Like it right
Like
now.
the stream right now. If you love us at all, like the stream.
Like it or else.
Or else we'll kick your booty. Maybe.
I can't
Um,
fight, but I feel like Alyssa could.
Thank you for thinking that. I don't know. I've never actually like gotten into a fight, but
I don't know. I
Kevin
just
also
have faith
seems
that you could kick ass for some reason. It's just, it seems like
yo.
it's within you, you know?
Kevin has said
Wow.
things like that too to me, and I'm like, you're the closest person to me. You're with me every single day, and you really think that I could like beat someone's ass? I'm
He
kind
knows
of
the
honored.
truth.
I
Yeah, he
know.
knows the truth.
I'm honored that that dog seems to be in me from other people's perspectives. That's great.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good thing to have.
Oh my God. Let's see. Oh, people are saying there's 490 people watching and like 150 likes. So get those likes up. Um, and let's see. We have some calls that are actually being screened. So I'm gonna give them like
Oh.
one more second before we start taking calls. I saw Spider-Man this weekend. That was
Oh, how
good.
was it?
It was really good. I really liked it. I'm not like up to date on all of my superhero movies. I'm not that much of like a superhero
Yeah, me neither.
gal. They just feel like very loud and kind of the same to me. And like I can't really understand the plot lines. Like this is very simple and also very confusing.
But it was good?
It was really good. And the Hulk is in the Spider-Man. And I was very like, I think there was a period of time, especially with like Marvel and DC movies, where they rely a lot on CGI because it's like obviously they're
Hmm.
superheroes and like they have to, make these like magical things happen. And so yeah, but for Spider-Man, so much of it doesn't really feel like CGI because he is like mostly like he tries to like interact with like the everyday world, like Peter Parker, so like normal.
Yeah.
And obviously the flying through the air, not so much, but and the webs, not so much. But there are parts of him that feel so like grounded and normal. And so there's a scene where the Hulk like claps his hands and like a whole hallway of a building just like collapses. And it was so
Yeah.
cool to watch because so often CGI, it's just like, well, everything is big and everything is loud. So like this doesn't have any impact for me anymore. And that really had impact. I was like, damn. Yeah.
Wait, is the Hulk still
Mark Ruffalo.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was like wondering that because I saw a little clip and
Yeah.
I really love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans
Me
and
too.
the Christian Bale Batmans are like my favorite superhero movies because I don't really watch Marvel, like
Yeah.
new Marvel or anything. But um so last weekend I spent my whole weekend crocheting. Do you want to see my finished project?
Yes.
Okay. I like doing show and tell with you guys.
Me too.
But it's a Pokemon and he has a whole freaking
Oh
flower on his back. He has a whole
my God.
tree.
Taylor.
And I just
That's
love him.
amazing.
He's ready for battle, and I'm proud of him. But yeah,
Um,
I spent 2 whole days crocheting, and I felt like my hands were like this. Like I felt like I was getting. I was like, I'm gonna wake up and my hands are just gonna be like this. And
oh.
that's actually a huge fear I have because sometimes I'll be out and about and I'll see older women and their hands are
Mhm.
like that. And I'm like, that's scary to me. I need
I
to make
know.
sure that's not me one day.
I wonder if you could like exercise your fingers to
I
like,
try to. I'm really bad at it though. I need to
uh,
s- I need to like take breaks and actually do that.
yeah, yeah. Well, one of the one of the people who called in is like was literally a child. So I would like to get some more callers in here so that we have like a nice little flow of picking up calls before we move into those. So, what are some like ragey conversations that we could have? Oh, speaking of Mark
Mm.
Ruffalo, I was talking to Kevin about how interesting it is that in like Hollywood, some people get blacklisted for speaking out against Israel,
Hmm.
and then others don't. And it like Mark Ruffalo is one that speaks out all the time and like consistently is in movies. And it's
Yeah.
like pretty much only women that I'm aware of who get blacklisted from the
Yeah.
industry. What the fuck is
I
that about?
yeah. I That's something that came to my mind, and then also I wonder if it matters how established you are, like how concrete your career seems. I don't know if that plays a role because I feel like
Yeah.
some people who were shit on for it were kind of like getting started or not as popular as some other people, which
Hmm.
is annoying and weird. I guess they feel comfortable going after like people who aren't as established, which is fucked. No, but was it him who do like goes to protests and stuff, right?
Yeah. He goes to
Yeah.
he goes to protests. He is like all but tweeting fuck Trump, you know? But he also was only I think
Yeah.
he's only on Threads because that's my dude,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
It is really nice to see celebrities like not be afraid to say shit.
I know. It's really
It's
awesome. And I
really
feel like, I don't
nice.
know. And then there's like the Gwyneth Paltrow of it all. I'm like, what the fuck are you like literally what are you doing?
I forgot she existed.
She's just like constantly doing ads for Israel.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That's so
Oh
weird.
my, you have to see the apartment one, Taylor, because she literally,
Where
she
does these
literally,
ads like play? Like where are these ads going?
I don't know if it's on her account, but she did an ad
Oh.
for like an apartment building in Tel Aviv.
Oh.
I
That's
just can't.
so that's so weird. I that reminds me of like a couple months ago, I saw that a bunch of right-wing like influencers got paid to go to Israel. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like do you know who the older millennial is?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he got paid to go to Israel and it's just so weird.
No way. Wait, but that's
Yes.
also crazy because like down the shoreline, there are people just being exterminated. And I don't
Yeah.
really know how you go to, I'm gonna look at the older millennial and see. I don't know how you go and like sit at the beach knowing that.
I don't know. I feel like it definitely was just about the money because I
Yeah,
don't really know the other influencers who went, but I just thought it was freaking weird.
it
It's so
is
weird. It
freaking weird.
reminds me of when Tim Pool was being paid by Russia to say that Ukraine was our enemy.
I just can't. I just can't. It's so embarrassing. And I don't know.
Yeah,
All of it's fucked. All of it's fucked.
it
Well,
truly is.
we need to get some more interesting callers on here.
Come on,
So
Thea's call.
what's like a good conversation that we can have to get people to call in?
There's a lot of hoes out there trying to trying to get away, trying to they don't want women to vote anymore, which is just so
Oh
whack.
my
It's becoming
God.
a more and more popular stance, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I don't know.
Who are these people?
Who
And it's
are these fucking people?
and it'll be a bunch of people that go to like Turning Point USA events.
Yeah.
Of course, Pete Hegseth's fuck ass pastor keeps talking about it and keeps getting put on air. It's
Yeah.
just so, and I won't lie, when I see the Christian men say it, I kind of am not shocked, but every single time I see a woman say it, I'm like, I, you're the worst. Like you're just actually the worst. I, it makes me so angry.
I
Um,
know. I also, it's just always people, that expression like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like all the time. Like we were talking about Elon Musk yesterday and how it's like actually it was related to the conversation about Mark Ruffalo because I have such a problem with the way that Gen Z picks and chooses when they're activists and when they're not. And they uh are so intense with some stuff and then like not intense with others. Like, why is it that if someone has a Tesla, like that's not like a cancelable offense if it's like a recently
Mm-hmm.
bought Tesla,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a cancelable offense to like buy something from whatever Fashion Nova or whatever. Like, you know?
Yeah, there's very like weird things that I don't know what the word is, but that like latch on and others that don't. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, like, it's just really bizarre. And I think generally Gen Z has like good intentions, but they're just like holding people's feet to the fire for like a Fashion Nova purchase and like they fully
Hmm.
drive a Tesla. I'm like, that man did a Nazi salute. Are we not worried about that?
Yeah, it's weird to think about the fact that most of them are completely growing up with the entire web like at their in their hands.
I know.
And it's like the first generation we're watching do that, and it's a little, yeah, it's a little I don't know. I don't know how it'll impact them. Hopefully not like super negatively, but I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
think it's like a weird balance they're trying to strike and it's like turning out really strange. But then I don't know, whatever. I have so many thoughts on that. But yeah, and then we have these people who are wanting the women's vote to no longer exist.
It's funny too that I mean they've always kind of been this way, but it's funny how much it's ramped up because women aren't voting the way they want them to. So now
Hmm.
it's like time to take it away. And
Right, exactly.
it's always these people that are like, my freedoms, and this is a free country, and this is like, I'm like, you don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about that. Like, you don't
No.
care if people have the freedom to do X, Y, or Z. It's
No,
so
the Republican Party
obnoxious.
is not about freedom, and it's insane. It's crazy to be traditional and conservative and have those be words that are associated with your party, and then also have a word like freedom alongside it.
I know. It's ironic. Did you see the thing that Homeland Security posted? Um,
No. Oh, was it
yes,
an Ariana Grande thing?
no, they
I saw
posted this
that.
on X. I think it was yesterday, but they just tweeted a picture of Trump and it said, did you remain loyal?" Yeah, it's freaking scary. I looked at it, I'm like, what the freak is this?
That's on Twitter?
Yes, it's so weird. It was like in response to I think voting polls or something. I don't know, but oh my gosh, I'm like, you guys are freaks. And then
Freaks.
eh, I just don't know why anyone would be confused as to why people would call MAGA a cult. Like you should understand why because who posts that? Who posts that? Like
I
they're
don't
just
know.
telling us it's not about the country, it's not about the people. Did you remain loyal to Donald Trump? I'm like,
That's so crazy. I mean, the Homeland Security Twitter account is the most disgusting
vile.
propaganda I've ever seen. Like just like scrolling through it because I haven't, I don't use Twitter, so like I haven't seen this in a long time. But yeah, did you remain loyal? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
it's
From August
creepy as
24th.
fuck. If
That is
you
so crazy.
if you go on X, it's just disturbing. Like I can't go on there too much because it destroys my humanity or faith in humanity
Yeah,
because the shit I see on there, even from official whatever accounts, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's just
that is
like
so
a
crazy.
cesspool.
I
It's
know.
scary.
That is so nuts. I just screenshotted it so that I have it. Yeah. What the fuck? And then, oh my God, did you see that Melania came out to do like a press like whatever, I don't know what the fuck they call it, conference? I don't know. And they were calling it a proof of wife because everyone has been talking about that Natalie woman, Natalie Hunt.
No way. Wait, I didn't know about how did I not know about this? Like what did
I
she
don't know.
even say? She just like showed
She
herself or
Well,
what?
she started it by saying, I heard you missed me.
She thought she ate with that.
She really thought she ate with that. She really did. She really did.
I have to go look this up because that's crazy. That is
Yeah,
so funny. Like,
I
what else
know.
did she say? Just like, hi, I'm still married to Trump, or I'm still married to
I
my
don't
husband.
know. I don't know. I don't care to even I haven't like watched her or Trump say anything in a while because it's just so disgusting to me. And I
Yeah,
just
it's a hard
can't.
watch.
Yeah, it's such a hard watch. But it is sort of funny to imagine like Natalie Hunt, who is quite young, being so obsessed with Donald Trump.
Did you see the interview with her brother, like on the news? When,
No.
yeah, someone, I think it was from CNN, someone was interviewing her brother, and he said that she's always been like that, and she's tried to get with other presidents in the past. And he mentioned Bush. And obviously it wasn't going to happen with Bush because I think he's like an actual conservative and probably like wants to,
Right.
I don't know, like show that through like his marriage with his wife or whatever. But yeah, he said she's always been like this and like obsessed with getting, I don't know, buddy buddy with the president. And I'm like, that's so weird. And then the letters she wrote to him were also so freaking weird. Like, you mean the
Yeah.
world to me or you mean everything to me. I'm like, something's wrong with you.
Something is very wrong. Also, it's Natalie Harp, not Hunt. And everyone in the chat is like,
Oh, I
LOL,
didn't know
Natalie
her
Hunt.
last name.
Sorry, yeah, it's Harp. I know. The like messages, the written whatever letters are so creepy. And again, like this is all coming from a party of people who are allegedly conservative, especially like sexually and in their relationships. A
Yeah,
real conservative person would never allow
I
for that type
know.
of behavior
That's what
ever.
that's what I'm saying. And oh my gosh, I saw this post the other day that's so good. It was like these two men have had over 20 some kids
Yes.
combined with seven different women, and they're saying feminism is the problem. And it was, yeah,
Hmm.
Trump and Elon. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that to me is like the definition of the like patriarchy, basically. Like they don't care, obviously, they don't care about the family unit or nuclear family.
Hmm.
And they can have kids with however many women they want, and it's perfectly fine. But feminism is the thing tearing families apart, apparently. Like women wanting to vote and have a career is the thing tearing families apart, not men
Right.
cheating on them with women half their age. Like,
I love so much when people talk about Trump being like he's a family man and he's a Christian. He's cheated on every wife he's had.
anybody who genuinely also believes he gives a fuck about Christianity is actually like,
Delusional.
I just have no words. I have
Delusional.
absolutely no words.
It really is like I wonder what it feels like when they have to soothe their knees after being on them
No,
all
yeah,
fucking day.
literally. No, literally. He could shit in all of their mouths and they would be like, thank you.
And they'd be like, no, this is I
This is
love
delicious. I love this. My favorite
I love
meal.
your shit. Thank you. It's just, it's so embarrassing.
Um,
And then it also is even more embarrassing to me that there are so many men who are obsessed with Donald Trump. Like it's so often that like the men who are really on their knees for him are the men. And then they want to be
yeah.
like it's because they want an alpha male like and because they prioritize alpha male shit. And I'm like
And the fact that he's seen as an alpha male is like,
mortifying.
he, like, what?
In what world?
What? I don't know if you saw that. I don't even know what debate it was, but it was some kind of, I only saw a clip of it, but it was a Jubilee debate, and
Mhm.
the guy asked which women there would like have sex with Trump, and almost all of them raised their hand.
That's that is
What is
disgusting.
happening? What is happening? Like, it's, I don't know, it just blows me away. It's, it makes me feel like this whole thing with Trump, like start to finish, I feel like the world is a lot dumber than I originally thought it was. Like, I don't know, maybe I was naive of the type of people that were out there, but I'm just like blown by so
I know.
much and how
I
much
know.
they're willing to excuse and just deal with. And like, because you know that if, like, imagine if Biden tweeted that thing of, imagine Homeland Security tweeted, "Did you remain loyal?" and a picture of Biden. Could you imagine the response that would come from that? There would be
Oh,
actual riots in the
yes.
actual street. But when he
Yes.
does it, there crickets. Nothing is said. I've
Right.
barely seen anybody talk about it.
Well, because they don't have his you know what out of their mouth long enough to talk about it. So they just
Yeah.
have to wait for the time to pass. It's
Yeah.
unfucking believable. It's so embarrassing. Anyway, we should start taking calls. We're already, oh my God, it's already my time, 4:30. That's crazy. Okay, so let's start taking some calls, and we do have lines open. So if you want to call, the number's on the screen. It's 720-619-2288, and there's a web link in the description. And you can talk to us about God things. You can talk to us about, actually, here you go. I'm going to give you a list of things that I believe we both believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Taylor, at any time, and
Mhm.
you can yell at us about it if you would like to, okay? God
Yes.
is not real. The Bible is a shitbag book, and it's incredibly hypocritical and actually, honestly, useless. God's ego is embarrassing, per the debate title down there. God is sexist. Virginity isn't real. Body count doesn't matter. Uh, what else? Hmm.
I would say that Trump isn't Christian or conservative, if someone wants
Trump
to
isn't
talk
Christian or
about that.
conservative. Yes, yes, yes. There was one more that I was going to say. Oh, and we believe that abortion access should be available to everyone at all times.
Yeah, guys, call
So,
in. Feel free.
and
This
I
is
would
like our
love,
bad signal.
no, exactly. This is our bat signal. Exactly. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get some more people to call in and have some interesting conversations. So we do have some calls, and someone in the chat said the Bible isn't useless. You can use it as toilet paper in a pinch.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I am going to pull in Nathan, who's been waiting very patiently in our queue. Hi, Nathan.
Hiya.
Hi, how's it going?
Going all right. How about you?
Oh, I'm a little sleepy today,
Decent.
but I'm all right.
Oh, I empathize with that. That's my eternal mood.
I know. It's rough. It's rough. What did you want to talk about today?
There is my topic, but one thing I wanted to say, I agree Donald Trump isn't a Christian, but I think he is a conservative. It's just conservatives are actually that bad.
Yeah.
Conservatives are not what?
Are that bad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we're
Um,
we're aligned on that mostly.
yeah. But if I'm not mistaken, I've called a decent bit, and basically the one thing I've still kind of taken issue with is, and I don't know, I've taken issue with usually a lot of comments made around men are responsible for patriarchy, or all men are irresponsible to patriarchy, or things like that. I'm curious, would you agree with those statements?
Can you say the statements again?
Men are responsible for patriarchy.
I would say yes to that
Who
one.
else would be responsible?
Yeah.
That's fine. I guess the second question I have specifically then is how do you define responsibility
Well,
in
I
this context?
also
Because there's a few
I,
different meanings for it.
I also want to say I think that obviously there are women who like help uphold patriarchy. But I would say that the majority of it comes from men. They created the system. I think that's what I would mean when I say responsible for it, is creating that system itself.
Yeah,
Okay, so you, oh, sorry.
I just looked up the meaning of responsibility. I'm not good at like defining a word like that. I looked up the definition of it, and it says having a duty, obligation, or to deal with certain tasks and being accountable for the outcomes. Um, I think that I don't know, that sounds right to me. And I think there are some men who are actively working against the patriarchy, and that's wonderful. But even those men acknowledge that they benefit from it.
Hmm. Um, like that much I don't necessarily disagree with. Um, the part I just take issue with is I feel like if you're saying men are responsible for patriarchy, or sorry, I guess I think in both of your definitions, you would say people are morally culpable to working towards fixing patriarchy. Like if they are not doing it, they should theoretically be punished in some facet.
I don't think they should be punished. I don't think that
Yeah, I'm not sure
being,
like punishment is anything I've
yeah.
But
advocated for, but I think
if you fail something you're responsible for, does there not need to be a consequence for that?
I think that there are natural consequences to things that you are responsible for and are not, like holding up some level of that task. And I think the natural consequence is the parts of the patriarchy that deeply affect men, that like are creating a situation where men do feel lonely and like they can't be emotional and they can't express their feelings, like that is the consequence. I don't feel like I have to like though I think this whole conversation actually came from that exact point, which is when we have people who call in that are, experiencing loneliness, men who are experiencing loneliness, having a hard time dating and all these things. And we can say, well, women are experiencing loneliness in the same way, but we only have a male loneliness epidemic in conversation. And so, that the inability to have a tool to help you with that is sort of the consequence. Like I think women are more equipped because of the nature of the patriarchy. We're more equipped to seek out tools like therapy or whatever approach that we want to use. And so I don't think that like there's no consequence that I want to provide to anybody. I think the consequence is a natural one.
I also want to say, I think another natural consequence is the fact that they have to work on undoing the damage that they've done. So there's that as well. But no, I don't
feel
know.
like you need to be much more specific. That feels far too general to mean anything.
Like
all men have done so much damage, they all need to repent for unspecified damage.
No, that's not what I said.
That's not what you said.
Well, no, I'm just saying what you said was quite vague. So
First of all, not all men like uphold patriarchy in the first place. I think if they were responsible, okay, let's say there's somebody who preaches that, or there's somebody who gets online and talks to millions of people about how they don't think women should vote and they should be the leader of the household and blah 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 blah. Yeah, if they discovered, this isn't right and I've caused a lot of damage, yeah, I think they should work on like trying to fix the harm that they've caused. Not that they'll ever be able to fix all of it, but I don't know. Say, if that's a situation, say publicly, this is why I'm wrong. This is why I don't believe in this anymore. This is how it hurts people, stuff like that. That is kind of what I have in mind as far as people who have a lot of influence on everybody else.
Yeah, like fair enough. I don't think I disagree with most of that. Any of that. I think the part that gets confusing is I feel like if I implied you were irresponsible to something that affects people negatively, is that not in a way shaming or blaming you?
I'm not saying that that's also that phrasing is misconstruing what the point is. I'm not calling people irresponsible because not if you are a person going through your day-to-day life and maybe you aren't like actively dismantling the patriarchy, but you're also not actively contributing to it. I don't think that you're being irresponsible, you're being passive. But there are plenty of people who would, watch something happen to a woman on a subway platform and say and do nothing. And there are plenty
there's also the bystander effect, to be fair.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, and whatever kind of circumstance there is around it, there are plenty of times where men have the opportunity to take advantage of the benefits of being a man in this country, and they will take it. And then be upset later that people don't really want to like reach down to them to help them with something like loneliness, because everybody's experiencing that. And now you've had, opportunities that other people don't have, and you still want other people to like, I think ultimately
I'm curious, in the loneliness aspect, what opportunity do men uniquely have?
I think men have more access to social spaces because they can safely go pretty much anywhere. Women don't have that luxury. Like right now, I'm in the mountains. I would love to go on a walk by myself. I would love to. And I don't feel comfortable doing that because I have no fucking clue who lives here or what that could be like. And
Sure.
I think that is a part of it. But I also think it's like
Could I address
if it's
something real
not
quick?
sure.
I feel just in that implication, I do think you miss what is loneliness. Because loneliness isn't necessarily that loneliness as like studied in psychology is not specifically like people lacking people around them. Loneliness is actually the emotion specifically when people's actual connections, whether that's people around them or people not around them or what have you, are different from what they want or what they need for it. And so I can take myself, for example. I actually don't feel quite alone when I'm not around a lot of people. I generally actually feel far more alone when I'm around people because generally most of the conversations are quite vapid or boring or they're drunk. And it's like, for me, that's not specifically interesting.
Okay. So what do you feel like is the thing that would change what that circumstance is like for you?
Oh, for me, there's a few things. I mean, in my own case, I have a system where effectively I have multiple relational traumas to some extent, and definitely CPTSD is probably the best way to define my mental illnesses. Otherwise, my diagnoses have kind of just become a soup as time's gone on, which is usually an indicator of CPTSD.
Okay. So, and then are you actively in treatment for that?
I am, but I would consider that a privilege, quite
Yeah.
frankly, considering that treatment, especially for CPTSD, even in Canada, even for more severe forms of depression, really, it's not free to seek that treatment.
Hmm.
There's either like the only inpatient options are for immediate risk of suicide or hurting other people. Otherwise, like if you're just like having a terrible time, have a hard time finding work, rarely see inpatient. And then past that, if you do like a day hospital thing, you still have to figure out like your food, your shelter, and paying for that. Even if you're going to therapy, generally the free stuff through the hospital is very goal directed and trying to get it through. Especially for CPTSD, that can actually make things worse in the long run. And it's kind of so brief. And in my instance, it didn't even allow me the opportunity to switch therapists, which is actually one of the core tenets of how to make therapy work. Not one of the core tenets, but it's a nuance that really helps therapy for individuals. And as such, you'd have to pay a lot of money. So even access to it, I'm also privileged in the instance as well that I'm not necessarily so extraordinarily shamed for going to it, or I wasn't so socially socialized as most men are to be so adverse and
Sure.
talks and like
Yeah,
like
and
not towards
another
therapy.
part of it too is there's research to report that women are 66% more likely to experience medical misdiagnosis compared to men, and that includes mental health diagnoses.
Okay, I will say that
So,
argument feels like a whataboutism.
well, I mean that's what you're kind of like. I mean, that's what you want to go like. I mean, it. I
If
don't
my
know
point is,
how
I
else to
think
have.
saying men are responsible for patriarchy is not a good thing to say. I'm not implying
Who
anything
else
about
is
women.
responsible? Who's responsible then?
Well, yes, it's people, but I feel like you don't necessarily understand the proportionality of responsibility and power, let alone how institutions are upheld
But no one said
by
all
all
men.
people
No one said
in
all
society.
men are responsible. I've never
If you're
said that. I don't
saying
speak in
if you
absolutes.
say
But
men are responsible for patriarchy, I don't like that's I don't see how you can argue that doesn't imply all men.
you've implied that. If I wanted to say all men, I would have said all men. I've never said that, and I don't speak in absolutes. So that is your implication that you want to add to that. That's not what I said. If I wanted
If
to
I
say
say
all men,
black
I would
people are
have said that.
criminals, what do you imply?
There, I'm not having that conversation with you, Nathan. I'm not having
No,
that conversation
I'm
with you.
saying, like, I know that's an
I,
absolutely wrong statement to say, but I'm just saying, what do you imply? Like,
but I'm not, if I wanted to say all men, I would have said all men. The truth of the matter is, the majority of the people who uphold the patriarchy are also part of the system that created it, and those are men. And I don't understand why that is like so upsetting for you to accept. No one is
well,
asking
like,
you personally to be held responsible for that.
the thing is, like, that's fine. That clarification, like, yeah, totally fine. There's lots of people in positions of power that are benefiting, taking their privilege and not using it for good. There's lots of men. I could even just honestly more so take this on a class direction. A lot of rich people just justifying systems. I've heard some pretty good arguments that capitalism, patriarchy, and colonialism are all interconnected. To deconstruct one, you need to deconstruct them all. So like that I totally get. The issue I'm really running into here is just kind of like I literally just like I feel like to some instances, like I genuinely feel like that statement is prejudicial. I think also assuming all like men just have more power is kind of like this innate vague thing is a continuance of patriarchal gender roles.
There's always going to be implied nuance. I'm not sure what you mean. And also when I say something like, men are responsible in that way, it's the same to me as somebody growing up and their parent doing awful things to them, right? And like causing them trauma. It's still that person's responsibility when they get older to deal with those issues and to heal from those issues and to like be able to maintain relationships and not take it out on people. Does that mean it's necessarily like they should be blamed for everything? No, but do they still have a responsibility to heal themselves and work on themselves in that way? I think so.
Fair enough, but like, how much responsibility do they have necessarily if some of those things are instance of privilege? Like, if you have other supports, if you have the finances or the ability to escape that situation, if you have the temperament or access to therapy.
Sure, but if you have some experience in your life that has created a trauma response where like I mean this is like a really silly exaggeration, but it like makes you an asshole to everyone around you, you can't say, well, it's not my fault because I experienced trauma. It's like, well, yeah, but that means at the end of the day, the consequence is people don't like you and people are not going to want to hang out with you because you're an asshole and people don't want to hang, you know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't
totally.
actually.
Like, I will say, like, I think there can be lots of situations where generally it's better for someone affected by someone else, like, okay, set a boundary, never interact with them, but like save yourself the hate. But that's even I feel a different conversation. I'm curious though, what is of the special pleading if I say, oh, women are too emotional? I understand, like, that is, I do not believe that. I need to state that open up front. But it's like, okay, I'm just implying some women are too emotional, like I feel like that's special pleading to like how, language is used. That yours has far more nuance and there's more, and it's not an issue of you maybe saying something too sensational or vague or something that I think is very appreciable to feminist spaces filled with a lot of hurt women who, like, all in all, they're victims. They need some of that safety. I see that value in it. But, like, I think as a bastion of feminism and against patriarchy, I think it fails to hold actual equality.
Again, I'm wondering who's responsible for patriarchy. I guess I'm confused by that. Like, who do you think it came from? Where did it come from? Who's responsible for it? Nobody?
I think that can go in the philosophy of if you believe in predeterminism and the sort. I don't mean to abstract. My personal belief is both a paradox of you're influenced by others, but you need to assume everything is your personal responsibility. Um, where that line is of what's the percentage, I don't even know if that's possible to figure out. My
Wait,
point
but so then
is,
you
I,
do
it's just
believe in
like,
personal responsibility. Did I mishear that?
sorry?
I want to make sure I didn't mishear it. You said you do believe in personal responsibility?
I believe in a paradox in both you are severely affected by others, and also that you need to assume everything is your personal responsibility. Well, everything of your agency. Let's be
Okay,
reasonable. Everything of your agency.
right. But so then we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if like the women who chose not to vote. Like the issue I have is like if you just say men are responsible for patriarchy, like I don't see how that's very different from just saying X group are bad thing.
Well, I first want to say that I recognize all the time that
Um,
women are upholding the patriarchy and they have internalized misogyny. But I think when people say men are responsible for patriarchy, I mean, for many years, they didn't give women rights. So I'm just confused. Obviously, people are going to look to them as to,
yeah,
they're the people who built the system. So I just don't like when at least when I say, men are responsible for patriarchy, I'm not looking at every single man in current day and being like, this is your fault. That's not, I don't like, okay, so
yeah,
it's like
but like,
somebody
how
saying
are
to
you
me,
supposed
hold
to
on, hold on.
interpret
It's
that
like
message
somebody, it's
reasonably?
like,
Like, let's be
Nathan, it's
honest
like
here.
somebody, yeah, I'm being honest. Let's say somebody to me says, white people are the reason we had slavery in the United States. Am I like, why would I feel slighted by that? Of course, I've
You
never
know
had
what,
slaves,
Nathan, I'll give this I'll
but
give
it's
this to
true.
you I'll give this to you also. Especially around like the height of Black Lives Matter during 2020, like the height of that movement.
Hmm.
Um, there was a lot of people saying things like white people are responsible for upholding white supremacy. They're right. They're right. They're right because every single day I benefit from that system. Every day I benefit from that system, even though I am not racist and I am not a white supremacist. I benefit from the structure that has been set up already, and there are things that I'm able to do freely that if I were a Black woman, I might not have that same experience. And I'm able to acknowledge that when people said white people are responsible for upholding white supremacy in this country, um, that like I don't have a problem with agreeing.
Okay, yeah. And I guess to be specific, in that case, you would imply it implies all white people or some white people.
I think it implies most white people because we benefit from the system. And so like if you're not actively doing something regularly to dismantle that system, then yeah, like I benefit from it in some way. And so I do by default, I am a part of what upholds that structure. But that doesn't mean that I have to like do like I don't have to like have a consequence for that, but it's important that people are aware so that they can make changes. They can be aware and protect the people around them that need to be protected. So like similarly with men and the patriarchy stuff, it's like I don't need you to like you don't need to like, kneel at an altar and ask for forgiveness. That's not what anyone is asking anyone to do. But it is important to acknowledge that by benefiting from this system, you do participate in what upholds it. And there's nothing that you need to like actively do with that. But the recognition is important because it's just the nature of the thing. And so, like, I know, I'm sure, I don't know if you read the like chats. I hope you don't, because it's like so much stuff that people are just going through. But many times when we have this conversation, people will call you like a professional victim, because like I think people are confused about what you want, like what how ideally you would have this conversation end that would make you feel better.
So I guess the term responsible is where it comes in. And there's something that just seems so persnickety of like, okay, it's something that the word almost to an extent becomes meaningless. And it's just like the point, it's like, oh, you're supposed to do it, but you're not morally culpable. And it's like if someone is deemed responsible for a car accident, they pay for it.
Yeah,
if someone is responsible for causing as much harm as the patriarchy, if someone's responsible for
right,
a crime,
but you understand that you're actually in a unique situation, because you are wanting to have, like, you are actively doing the opposite of wanting to change the patriarchy. Like, it feels like you ultimately are arguing for, like, you know, this not being your responsibility, so whose responsibility is it? No one's, and so we just leave it as it is. Like,
is it not my point that shaming people causes them to necessarily withdraw in a social context, or
but I'm not
removing them
shaming
materially
you.
makes them
There
more
doesn't-
vulnerable?
I'm
and then
not
when they
sh-
seek
I'm
social,
saying
doesn't
that
have to
social
be shame.
validation, and the only place they
Same-
belong, it's in alt-white spaces, and then it reinforces
Nathan,
patriarchy.
saying that men generally are responsible for the patriarchy, which it's like crazy that that's like not a sentence that you're okay with. Men are responsible for the patriarchy. Saying that sentence is not shaming anybody. And if it lands with you like shame, that is you. That is a you thing to look at. Because like I can tell my husband right now, men are responsible for the patriarchy, and he will say yes. And it doesn't land like that for him.
And again, Nathan, why don't I feel offended when people say, white people are responsible for slavery in the United States? What, like, it's not offensive. It's just what actually happened. It's what the reality is. Is that not fair?
I mean, I think it's imprecise, but I think it's fine enough.
Then why isn't this?
Like, I think if you go to the reason of saying, like, these people are the cause of something, more so these people engaged in it, I mean, that's just semantical garbage, whatever the point. But I'm coming from the perspective of this point of there are a lot of young men who are quite vulnerable, who don't have defined identities, who are trying to seek social validation, and they can't get it from their family because it's culturally they face social neglect, which causes severe mental health issues down the line. I see a lot in spaces and in a lot of places, like, hey, yeah, men can have a hard time sometimes. It's like, oh, no, they can't. And I'm not saying I get this here, but like it's anecdotal yet common in my experience. And like something of patriarchy, of some way to dismantle it, like I think there is some validity to the concept of, yes, we've broken female gender, not perfectly, we still have conservatives and all those, yeah, right? But like, genuinely, what have we done to break male gender roles? Not what have we done? There has been progress in place, but like,
but to break male gender roles, that has to be something that happens within men. Like, what am I as a woman supposed to do to break down male gender roles?
Do you not think women may be responsible if said women is upholding male gender roles?
I already said that women are also responsible for upholding the patriarchy. Yes.
Okay, so is it not fair to say people are responsible for the patriarchy, that this as a system, we all need to work together to dismantle?
But Nathan, is it like, it feels
they aren't going to be the ones in charge of making policy and stuff if they get it their way. Do you know what I mean? The men are going to be responsible for changing everything because they're in their worldview, they're the ones in charge. So it doesn't really make sense.
Let's be a bit more specific, like, right? Like, okay, the men, maybe the rich white men in
politicians. Yeah, that's pretty important.
Sure. Like, that much is fine.
That's pretty fucking
also,
important.
Nathan,
if I say,
part of it is also like, let's
people commit crimes. Okay, that's fine. I say black people commit crimes. Is that a problem to say?
No, because black people do commit crimes. That's like a general statement. There are black people who do commit crimes. You did not say all black people commit crimes.
Responsible for the majority of crimes?
That's not what I'm saying. Well, actually, no, it is exactly what I'm saying. But
it is exactly
I would have to. But in that circumstance, with that sentence, I would look at statistics and I would see if that is true. And if that is true, then that is a true statement, and then we move forward. And then I can also acknowledge that
because it is doing the work of implying that black people are bad because they commit more of the crimes.
But you said the statement. You said the statement, and you're asking me to verify if that's true or not. I would never say that statement under any circumstance ever.
Okay.
And unless it was like in the
prejudicial.
Because
I think it becomes racist whenever people don't talk about the reasons that statistics might show that.
Yeah, the context is important. If I were having a conversation about how, patriarchy does hurt everyone, it especially hurts the black male community, and we know this because we see that when young black men do not have positive male role models in their lives, they are more likely to be incarcerated more than any other contextual circumstance. And all of that is related. And that leads to black folks committing whatever. I don't know that this is true.
Yeah. I mean, there's
however many crimes.
Even then, you could, sure, black people relate to crime more, but more realistically, poverty relates to crime far more, and more black people are redlined into poverty and all the other stuff.
Sure, but my point is, when we're talking about, so let's take the gender roles example for a second.
So, I'm just like, why did I have to be the one to really bring this out? Like, is this nuance really understood?
Because yes, it is. It's understood by everyone. It's understood the same. Like, so you are doing the thing where when we were saying Black Lives Matter and other people were saying all lives matter, that's what you're doing. You are all lives mattering this conversation. The nuance was implied. And even
is that still not a statement then where the implicit of it, I can understand saying men are responsible for patriarchy is a prejudice that punches up. I can understand why that's socially but
it's not a prejudice. It's just the truth.
It's an overgeneralization of people that's uncharacteristic and negative. That is the literal definition of prejudice.
Is it, Nathan, is it prejudice to say white people were responsible for slavery in the United States? Is that prejudice to you?
By definition, is it overgeneralizing white people as responsible for a negative thing?
It's not overgeneralizing. It's the truth that white people did that. So why is that? That is just a fact. I don't understand.
Most of the white people in the North.
Who else is responsible?
And we could say in America, could I just say all people committed slavery in the world? What's the rhetorical underlining?
Yeah, you could also say that. You can also say that.
Yeah, and I'm just
people
saying,
are responsible for enslaving other people.
Need to be responsible. The problem I have is I think, yes, there is punching up when you say people need to be responsible for this. But I just don't think we're punching up to a lot of men.
But in what way are we not punching up when men are hired more often? They get paid better than we do. Men are
What about the men socially ostracized? What about the more men incarcerated in your country than women? And I mean, there is.
Well, now you're doing whataboutism. Now you're doing whataboutism. On the whole, This is not whataboutism. This is
It's not literally
statistically
whataboutism.
true.
You are literally saying
you literally
the
said
men punching up
what
will
about?
have more power
You
than
literally
you.
said what
Tell me
about?
how a man with less money than you has more power than you. Tell me a man who's way lonelier
I'm
than
not
you
talking
has more
about
power
them.
than you.
I never said all men, god damn it. I never said that because that's not what I mean. So I am not talking about that person. I'm talking about the vast majority of men in this country who will earn more than I will at the same exact job that I will, who will be able to have a safety wherever the fuck they go in a way that I never will. Like, what do you
And
mean?
those
You
are
guys, you will
problems,
always.
certainly.
Those aren't okay. So, and also, you will get
I'm curious
diagnosed
though, is it a
quicker.
privilege
You will
if
get
that more money is
you
still
will
not
get
enough to survive
diagnosed.
in the economy?
Yes, it is still a privilege. It is still
I
a privilege.
understand that, but does it really mean anything? Like, are they not
Yes,
still
it does
losing
mean
overall?
something. It does mean something. If we are doing the same exact job, and we are capable of doing it the same exact way, and you're paid $30,000 a year, which is still not enough to live on, and I'm paid $20,000 a year. You think we can afford the same place to live? You think that we can afford the same car and the same food? No.
Well,
so
I don't
it is
think
still
you
a
can
privilege.
afford them literally anyways.
Right, but it doesn't matter.
And
You
I
asked
would
me that
still
question,
say,
and
from
I
like a
answered
moral
it.
perspective, I understand like there is a problem with that, right? Like there absolutely is, and that itself needs to change.
So, and who's going to change it?
Well, again, how can I not be being responsible to the patriarchy when a lot of the citing of men on the right, and some of it's like fictitious and some of it, like I think a lot of it's true and they just use that very terribly, is there is like hostility. There is, oh, you're a man, you're bad. And like that's just there.
But that's not what I'm doing.
And obviously that's dumb when people do that.
And
like
we
all men bad
disagree
is
with
dumb.
that. And
but
that's
the
why
reason
we've
it's
never
bad
said
faith is like prejudice is like the conversation like emotionally like it can't really come to truth. And that's just the tricky thing, is it's just like, hey, I want to say maybe we say things that's less alienating to people, and it's like, oh, you want to support patriarchy. It's like, no, maybe
but it's not alienating to say that men are responsible for the patriarchy because it's the truth. That's not an alienating statement.
It's also not the same as sitting here and saying all men are bad, all men suck, all like
it's
that's
not the same thing. And on top of that, if you have spent time,
that happens on a
on
regular
top
basis,
of that,
and some men could be insecure about
Nathan,
that?
on top of that, if you have watched me have conversations with men who call in and say the most backwards fucking shit to us, unless they're saying things that are like actively like racist, sexist, whatever, that like are worth having a combative conversation about. But when people call in, there was someone who was calling in, Andrew from New Jersey. He would call in every fucking week for months, and I would always take his call. Always. And you want to know why? Because he was caught up in all the manosphere bullshit. And I knew that if I could have a kind conversation with him every single week, little pieces of that information have a possibility of cracking through the surface. What's not going to crack through the surface is going on the internet and saying all men suck. So I don't do that. I disagree with people who do that. So
would you
that is why when I say
of saying men are responsible for patriarchy
no, because that's true,
easily be interpreted as overgeneralizing?
Listen, Nathan, you are the person who was adding, you have added all at the front of it. You've also added all men support or all men are responsible for the patriarchy, and so all men are bad. You have added all of this other stuff to it, and no one has ever said that.
Else with Thinker, are all men irresponsible for patriarchy? And you emphatically said yes. Or one of you two. Are all men
responsible for the patriarchy?
Yes, that's what I said, and one of you two emphatically said yes.
Okay.
But it's not in the way. It's not in the way that you're describing. It's the same way.
That literally not special pleading? If I literally ask, are all men irresponsible as clarification for patriarchy? And one of you two, I don't remember who was.
Are you saying are they responsible or irresponsible?
Yes.
I'm confused by the words you're using.
Are all men irresponsible? Sorry, that's I was just trying to enunciate it, but that sounded condescending. Are all men irresponsible in solving patriarchy? And one of you two emphatically said yes.
Okay, so if I say all men are responsible for patriarchy, In what world have you taken that to be all men are responsible for the patriarchy, for upholding the patriarchy, and so fuck them? Because that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I do believe that men participate in the patriarchy whether they want to or not. And if they're not actively doing things to help support the patriarchy being dismantled, yeah, you are kind of responsible for it. If you see it around you and you don't say anything, then yeah, you are upholding it and you are responsible. But that is, you're adding all of this extra stuff to it, which is not what I've said, and it's not what I've ever said. I believe that the way we get out of this with men is by giving them tools. We have to give them tools so that they can seek mental health support and feel like they can access their empathy and their emotions. Like, I've never said that because men uphold the patriarchy, they don't deserve help. And I think that you know that that's true based on how many times we've had this conversation with you. Because if I didn't I just
Can I
I
share an
can't
anecdote with
understand.
you then of an experience I genuinely had?
Sure.
So I was in a peer help group, not a peer help group. It was kind of just like a social, if you need help with school, kind of sit in for the psych majors. And there were a bunch of fourth-year psych majors, and I am socially just I can't think of a word negative to describe my skills socially, but they're quite atrocious. Nonetheless, I said something that was like fairly personally offensive, though in its extent true. Essentially, so I was saying, oh, it's really hard to get into post-grad, and I'm like, yeah, totally. And that is also a perception that you have. And that's a very invalidating, a very rude thing to say. And then it really spiraled into a lot of things. But in this communication, where I had an entire group of fourth-year psych students against me, I said women on average score higher in EQ. And they emphatically told me every time that what I said was me saying women are too emotional and can't make decisions.
Okay, well, they were wrong. That's not what you were saying.
I talked to different people in my psych research group who say misandry cannot exist.
Yes, well, I don't know. I agree that there are women who
I think there are many who can be misogynistic too.
I think that there are women who are really tough with this conversation and they are not willing to budge on it. And I hope that overall we have more productive conversations around it. But the whole thing is misogyny is contributing to a systematic, like, larger thing that's happening that
Yeah,
I don't
understand the
really
argument of why it's not as important, but to say it doesn't exist is different from saying it's not as impacted as misogyny.
I don't.
Okay, but that's not the system in place right now, so I think people would get annoyed if you're focused on something like that, like some women saying they want that, versus our actual system being patriarchal and the issues that are actually happening to everyone right now. I think that's probably why people get annoyed.
Would you not consider like emotional invalidation, which is seen as probably one of the most dangerous things for human development, as not something that's disadvantaged and globally perpetuated by the system of patriarchy for men?
Wait, sorry. What? Say that question again. I was listening, but I feel like I missed what the question was.
Would you not say emotional invalidation, which is scientifically proven to be one of the most detrimental thing to a human being's development, is not systematically driven by patriarchy?
I guess so. It's interesting that you're talking about it like it's detrimental. Like, I don't know if I understand.
So you're saying
you're
saying you need
emotional neglect. I thought you said emotional validation.
Oh, no, neglect. I may have said validation, whatever.
Sorry.
I may have said invalidation and it didn't pick up fully.
Oh, maybe. I was like, emotional validation feels like a good thing, and now I'm feeling like I'm not connecting the dots.
No, invalidation is the specific part of neglect, but like that specifically has been cited as extremely one of the most detrimental effects. Some might even say, like, some of the literature, I don't want to quantify it in ways, but like actually leads to worse outcomes than like straight up abuse in some cases. like just on average.
Okay,
Now,
what does that have to
all
do with
cases are
anything?
bad. All need to be supported in all of their ways. I just want to say that. But again, the main point is it not fair to say, like, okay, like there is a misandry and that all men are subjected to emotional neglect on a systematic level. It's literally in our institutions. It's in our families.
No, I'm sorry, that's whack. I think that's whack. Like,
Wait,
you're
Okay,
suffering
why?
because of misandry? Like, that's, like, I agree
well,
that there are a lot of women who are pretty whack about, like, making their whole thing hating men. I agree with that. But to say, like, it's on a, like, systematic level,
well, so wait, I want to, sorry, a fly literally flew into my eyeball as you were saying the last part of that, and you can watch the stream and you can see it because that was so crazy. So I'm sorry, I just
Uh,
want to clarify the point that you were making. So, you were saying emotional neglect and like when like children or when boys are babies.
so just overall development, emotional
I
neglect through the like emotional development and just
mhm.
overall development of humans is extremely detrimental.
and that
Yeah,
doesn't come from misandry, that comes from
I would
the
agree that
patriarchal
that comes from
system.
the patriarchy though. Yeah, like it's all of that like men don't cry shit. It's
Okay,
all of that same
I feel like
stuff.
that's a bit weird. Does not misogyny not stem from like I think there's a lot of actions people say are misogynistic actions. It's not necessarily because the person hates women. They're just doing something that disadvantages women.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
can
it,
agree.
so okay, so then if so, I guess just to be very very clear, if a person not hating women but doing something or even something supported by the system is systematic misogyny, is a thing that's detrimental to men, specific of men, is literally not systematic misandry. Like
But I don't think that
like
What?
definitionally.
I don't understand how this goes to misandry. I genuinely don't know what you're saying.
So misogyny, like its proper definition, is hatred of women. Fair?
yes.
Okay. People also use the term misogynist when someone wants to do something that really harms women, but they might not necessarily hate women.
Well, actually,
Is
so
that
wait, I want
also
to
fair?
just clarify. The definition of a misogynist is a person who hates, dislikes, mistrusts, or holds deeply prejudiced views against women. So it's a larger umbrella than just hating women. So I do think
Fair enough. I guess
that's the
just
definition of
in
it.
my specific question, like, or the hypothetical I posed here, is a person who doesn't necessarily hate, but like mistreats women out of, um, generally, not necessarily think out of hatred in some cases, just out of ignorance and ego.
Yeah, but
Is
that's
that
still a
person
person
still
who
not?
dislikes or holds deeply prejudiced views against women. I think that still applies.
When you say
I said
misandry,
they don't. So they
why don't you
don't have those, but they still do
But
things
I
that regularly hurt women.
but
Are
if they're
they
regularly
misogynist or is it
hurting
just a different
women,
word?
no, are if they're regularly hurting women, they probably dislike them or hold a prejudice against them. Why else would they be
I mean,
hurting them?
people, there are people who have gone to prison for medical, or not medical, child neglect because they deeply distrust medicine. I don't think it's because they hate their child, but it is almost killing their child and requires the child to be wrested away from them. So, of someone
Yeah,
of
but
that
that's
situation,
different.
or people with
That's not the
reverent
same that's not the
religious
same
beliefs.
thing because in a parental relationship, your responsibilities are different. And I think that your responsibility to one another as a human is to like not kill each other and not and I think that we can also say that humans should be responsible for just being kind to one another. So I don't know.
Fair enough. I think that's
I
missing the point of the hypothetical. The point necessarily is that it's possible to mistreat someone without hating them or being
yeah,
prejudicial or any of these things.
but yeah, but
Is that not
you
okay?
would
still
have to
misogynistic or is it not? Yes or no, basically.
you would
Okay, yes, now what?
it would depend on the situation. Like I mean, and also what is the point of like I don't understand the like
The point
larger picture
is,
you're trying to demonstrate
one
here.
of you said yes. If you're saying misandry can't be qualified because there has to be a hatred or there has to be this, but it
That's not
doesn't
what.
apply if there's a regular thing ingrained in patriarchy that
No,
regularly
no,
hurts men.
that's not what I
Where's the
said.
disconnect?
That's not what I said. I said misandry. It's funny to say misandry is a problem because that's not the system we're living in. It would make more sense to say, like, there are just women who literally hate men or say whatever about men. That's
Are you
when you
like
say,
having a cognitive conniption here?
That
first of
was
all,
I just
nice.
first of all,
no, no, like
chill.
it's literally there's
Why
hating
would you
women and there's
calling
doing
it?
things without hating them, misogyny. You agree to this. And then I'd
My
say
God.
there's hating men and then not hating men but doing things that's bad to them. That's not misandry. I literally
You're
I
no,
don't.
it's like because you're acting like it's some kind of system that's against men. It just doesn't make sense to say that. Like you can call it that, but normally people are going to think it's implied that you think misandry is like a big thing in this United States and it's hurting men. And it's just silly to say that because the things you're describing about men's mental health always leads back to the patriarchal systems. And yes, there are women that are mean to men. I just don't even understand the point.
So then you disagree with me that patriarchy doesn't also produce misandry, and that it would be a problem for those people to say misandry doesn't exist.
I think misandry exists. I know this
Okay.
is such a stupid
But it's not
conversation.
systematic. So it doesn't, it
If it's
matters
in the
less.
system of patriarchy,
It's not in the system of patriarchy.
how is it not?
It's an outlier. It's an outlier to it's literally like the antithesis of patriarchy in many ways.
I'm emotionally neglecting men by not allowing them to have feel their
No, but
emotions and constantly
that's
invalidating
not,
them as the male gender role of patriarchy.
but wait,
Mm.
emotionally neglecting men
I would say boys, it's more
when
of an issue. When you're a well-developed
okay,
adult,
when
emotional
it's
neglect
yes,
is
but
not bad.
that's if you are an adult that's in a caretaker role, that's different than like anybody I think who even would qualify themselves as a misandrist does not mean that if they are a caretaker, they hate their young child or the young boy that they're taking care of. And that's like
Okay.
that feels like a really kind of silly example. But actually, I want to stop
Oh,
here on the misandry misogyny because we're at like 50 minutes and we do have other callers. And I think this is a good place to stop to pick up on if you want to call back another time. Is that okay?
um, fundamentally, I think this is not the place for me to have these conversations. Though I appreciate what you do. I just don't think it's a great communication of feminism necessarily. And I think you have a more important place of people vulnerable in terms of religious communities or women who have been sincerely harmed. And so I just don't think that that's a valuable point to continue these sort of calls here. That's
Well,
just my
many
personal belief on it.
Okay, I appreciate you sharing that. I greatly disagree, and
Oh, fair
I don't
enough.
really know what
If you
else
have
to
like a quick
say.
reason as why, I just think my efforts could be used. Um, I think actually this could be of some value, but
Because I think
yeah,
it's
all things
important,
considered.
because I think that it's important when we have people who are calling in who want to talk about the male loneliness epidemic and um, claim women to be responsible, that it's important that we have this conversation to figure out where the responsibility really lies. Because I want a world where people are less lonely no matter who they are. I want a world where men have better tools. So, in having these conversations, it is important for the women who listen, but it's also important for the men who listen. And I think the majority of the people who listen, based on the chat and the comments on the videos in which you call,
Mhm.
are able to, they are men who are able to have the conversation of, I as a man am in part responsible for upholding this system. And I think that
Yeah.
that makes those people, once they've been able to do that, they're able to move on and say, okay, great. Now, so where in my life do I see this show up where like I could probably be better about saying something or contributing to, changing the circumstance. So I disagree because I see the conversations that happen in the chat. I see the conversations that happen in our comment section. And yeah, I just don't think that that is the case. I think that you're taking the conversation in a very personal way that is not the implication being made here, and sort of picking it apart based on the way it personally lands for you.
I guess I can just apply then that my personal view of in language, it's pretty reasonable to when someone say group something X that it is implying an overgeneralized majority.
I still think that men are responsible for the patriarchy.
We do generalize as human beings, so
and it's also just also, I don't know. It just feels, I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up this call.
Right. I appreciate your explanation. I think again, I appreciate what you do. I hope it continues because there is great value. I just think in terms of debate, there is more fruitful places for me to be. And anyways, I think could even dedicate this to myself as a form of selectivism. So I think this is my last guilty pleasure, and it should be important I do. Things such as volunteering at a soup kitchen or things more important to the community.
Gotcha. Sure. All right. Well, have a good one.
Bye, Nathan.
Sure, you as well. Bye.
Also, I do know I kept on getting systemic and systematic mixed up because I kept saying system and then I kept saying, oh my gosh, someone said that in chat, but yes, I know. I'm mixing my words. Forgive me. Words are so important, guys.
Important. Words are important. I don't even like know what to say to that anymore. I just like, I don't know. We have more interesting calls that are in the queue, and I would love to change the topic because it's the most circular conversation with Nathan where it just goes back and back. And I don't know.
I've noticed, and I'm about to generalize. Everybody watch out. I've noticed a lot of men lately in like debate scenarios. They'll debate like things like definitions for like 2 to 3 hours. Oh, that fly's coming for you.
Fucking fly.
But that's like a thing I see so often now, and I'm like, holy shit, like.
Yeah. Well, I understand the value of like defining terms so that everyone's like on the same page, but when you're picking things apart and then giving anecdotes, it's like you've now lost like the generality that has to exist for those like systems to be talked about like systems.
And it is like someone said in the chat, it is bean soup people of like, let me say this thing and I need to say all of these qualifiers. I need to have a whole list over here. I don't mean this. I don't mean this. This person is excused. Like, it's just like, whatever. I have a hard time having patience with it just because I get accused of that all the time in my videos. And I'm like, if this doesn't apply to you, then like, it's not about you.
It's not about you.
Yeah.
Oh, there was someone who was calling from Florida who wanted to talk about why body count matters. And
Marshall, come back.
Marshall, come back. Yeah, it's just that conversation is just belaboring the same points over and over again. And it's like, ultimately, I think that Nathan just doesn't agree. And that's just where it's going to be. Because I don't. Bean soup maxing.
That's what someone said in chat.
Yeah, exactly. Well, why don't I remember consistently how to look at the show schedule worth. Oh, never mind. Yes, I do. Okay, I'm gonna read through the shows for the rest of the week. So, at 8:30 tonight, you have Calling It Now with Ari and Jimmy. Tomorrow, the Hang Up with Matt and TBD for someone else. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., TACIS with Luxander and Josie. And then Calling It Now at 5 p.m. with Lux and Jimmy. And at 8 p.m., The Line is a Podcast with Jimmy and TBD on the other hosts. And then we skip to Saturday, Evangelicals at 5 p.m. with Thinker and Dalton. And then we have on Sunday, the Sunday show with Promise and Forrest at 1 p.m. Calling It Now, 4 p.m. with Jimmy and someone else, we're not sure yet. And Sunday show After Dark with Matt and Owen. Then we're back on Monday, Calling It Now at 2 p.m. with Promise and Jimmy. The Line is a Podcast at 4 p.m. with Jovan and Jimmy, and Skeptalk at 6 p.m. with Forrest and John Gleason. Did I say? I don't remember. Okay, yes, I said all of these. Okay, great. So that's our schedule for this week. So I hope that you all have some fun stuff you want to tune into. And if you are watching this and you haven't liked the stream, please like the stream. And join us on our Patreon and in our chat community as well. We like to chat in there and it's really fun. And I believe you have to be a subscriber to chat. Maybe that's just to like chat more quickly. Otherwise you're in slow mode or whatever. But subscribe to the channel because we have really great shows all week long. And what else? Like the stream? Oh, join our Patreon, patreon.com/calltheline. And you can contribute to this show and all of the other wonderful shows on this channel. All right. We have a call from a theist.
Yay!
Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna pull in Alexander, who I believe is calling from Alabama. Hello, Alexander.
Good evening, Taylor.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going good.
Wonderful.
So my question, I was wondering, could First Theologians 5:20-21 do not despise prophecies but test everything, basically like support the idea that our understanding of God's morality can continue developing and also prove that some troubling parts of the Bible reflect ancient culture rather than God's ideal will?
Wait, sorry, I'm not as familiar with the Bible as Tyler is. Can you, Taylor? Jeez Louise. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Could you give me the verse again? Because I just want to be able to look at it because I don't know it as much. It's 1
First
Theologians.
Theologians 5:20-21.
Okay. All right. Why is it coming up as Thessalonians? Is that the same thing?
It's oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to say it now. This happens all Thessalonians, gosh.
Oh, okay.
I had to say it once to myself before
Yes.
embarrassing myself.
Okay, so it's do not treat prophecies with contempt, but test them all. Hold on to what is good. Do not despise prophecies, but oh, I just literally just read the same thing twice. Oh, it's different versions. I see. Okay. Okay, and so your question is based on the Bible, are we based on that passage, are we to imply that things will change?
I guess.
Yeah, is that what it is? Is
What
it safe
is
to imply?
Well, I mean, whether to imply or safe to imply, either one. I'm just asking kind of both.
Well,
Wait.
I guess so. Taylor, and Alexander, correct me if I'm misrepresenting your question. So because in this little section it says don't despise prophecies but test all things and hold on to what is good, is that basically an argument, a biblical argument for by like sort of looking at the Bible in the context of current day and choosing the things that are good and leaving the parts that are not any longer?
Yeah, maybe a little background context would be helpful. So I used to be an atheist, and basically pretty much still agree with a lot of what you guys say on here. It's just now I'm kind of looking at it through a different perspective, because I see the good things in the Bible, and I really value those things, and I'm kind of wondering if these things seem cultural, why are we taking them as if they're just like stone-in laws from God or something, instead of just trying to use the Bible to help make it better?
I think the reason people have a problem with it is because Christians claim to have objective morality. So there are moral truths that are absolute. And if that is the case, which is kind of like their whole thing, then it doesn't make sense for God to uphold systems back in that time period that people would consider immoral. Because then, in theory, God would be commanding people to do immoral acts, which feels a little contradicting, don't you think?
I agree.
Right. And so I think that's why people argue this. I mean, a lot of people know that obviously, like, culture was different back then. I don't think that's what people have issue with. They have issue with this idea that there's a God that's beyond
It
time
should
and
be
space.
prevalent now.
Yeah, like he's good all the time, so it doesn't make sense why he would conform to a certain society and their standards, or why he would uphold those systems, because why wouldn't he uphold the systems that are like secular now? Like it just doesn't really. I think that's the issue people have.
Question, when you guys did believe, did you have like any strange personal experiences, like ever? And did you ever look into them?
I mean, there were things that I thought were connected to God and like some kind of spirituality, but I've never experienced anything that I'm like, wow, that was so unexplainable.
Oh, interesting. What about you,
Yeah.
Alyssa?
I didn't either. I was not really so religious. Um, but I also think that like when I was religious, I think a good example of this is when I was religious, I had this reoccurring dream and and every night I would have this dream over and over again, and it scared the shit out of me. It was a scary dream. And so then one night I woke up and it was the middle of the night and I could have sworn that I heard like the figure that's in the dream walking around my house. Like I could have sworn up and down that's what I heard. And then later in life I learned about like lucid dreaming, and I learned about uh like sleep paralysis and like what your brain is capable of doing when it's in this sort of like half asleep, half awake. And so now I like look at it and um and I can now give like more color to what that experience was, because I was a kid and like in the moment I was just scared. Like I wasn't sitting there picking it apart like, you know what, I was just scared. But now I can look back on it and say, actually, this is totally plausible that this was something like funky that my brain was doing, and our brains are crazy of capable things. So anyways, I haven't had anything happen to me that made me think, oh, like therefore God.
Okay. I was about to ask one, but that train horn just threw me off. God, I hate that thing. So you talking about, okay, well, I had like a kind of similar dream. Like I only had really one dream. I had a point that I was gonna say, like, to kind of expand on what you were saying. Hopefully I'll remember what it was. But I did have one time like a dream like with Jesus. It was like one time like when I was really young. And strangely I never had another one with him again. I was doing something, I went in the bathroom or something, and I don't know, I don't remember all the details, but like Jesus told me, when you get down there or whatever, no matter what you do, just stay down and you will not get whipped or whatever. And then I ended up going down, and I guess I was in hell or whatever, and Satan was literally just fucking whipping everybody. And I just did what Jesus said, and I came back up. He said, see, I told you everything would be okay. I know this is kind of real, but I'm really trying to remember what I was going to say. So I'm just kind of trying to pass the time with the story. But
It's interesting.
now that I think about it, I'm sorry.
No, keep going. Keep going.
So like, I think it's kind of weird now because like I was first theist, and then like I turned atheist because of online gaming, which is bound to happen when you talk to other people. Then, well, I wouldn't say that completely made me an atheist. I saw the other atheist experience shows, and that kind of did the trick. But anyways, so I was an atheist for quite a long time, and seemed like everything was going great. Like I was free from shadows of religion. Oh, this is I can think about everything clearly. Well, strangely enough, the personal experiences, that stuff didn't really start happening until I came back to belief, which is weird. But maybe it was because my brain wasn't fully developed. Who knows? Anyways, so I went through a lot of stuff as an atheist, like drugs, suicide attempts, all types of stuff, and now I'm a theist, and things are just kind of getting better for me. And that's kind of like a mundane example. Like I have a crap ton, I just can't remember them. That's kind of how personal experiences work, anyways. But what do you guys think about that story? Am I just like symbolically linking it, or just to make myself feel better, or do you? Oh, I think I remember. Okay, I remember what I was going to ask you. Sorry, I'm talking so much. All right. Do you guys think that, like, would you love it if everything had a reasonable explanation and God existed?
Depends what kind of God it is. If it's like the Christian God, no.
I
But don't you
also,
think it would be kind of cool that he existed, yet he still made a reasonable explanation for everything?
Not if he's
yeah,
torturing people.
yeah, it's like I think
I don't
that
think. Yeah.
it would be cool, but then I would have a lot of questions.
Right.
That's fine. I mean, I don't think God would get offended with his creators wondering where they came from. Now, like my take on it is, I was willing to, like, I loved evidence like a lot, but I kept hearing how people were talking about faith, and I don't know what sprung in my mind to make this prayer, but like I made this prayer like, God, I promise I'm going to really try hard to find you and everything. Can you just please show me evidence? And I promise that I'll even have to, like, I did not want to do it at all, because, like, I was a big Matt Dillahunty fanboy, and I was like, no faith, no faith. But, you know, I still went for it anyways. I trusted God, and then I started seeing things that seemed to link up at certain times in my life that just kind of seemed a little bit, I don't know, just, I'm not going to say finely tuned, because that's just, blah, but it just,
Well, but I think
it seemed a little bit
it's
too strangely timed, I guess.
I think there's a few things here. I'll say, Alexander, I'm never trying to like um to deconstruct anybody who feels happy and comfortable in their faith. Like that's not my deal. So if it's happy, if you're happy to believe in God and be a part of your faith, then I'm happy for you. I think when it comes to people like Taylor
I
and
also
myself
care
and
about
like,
the truth. Yeah.
well, yes, well that was the next thing I was gonna say is that we um will prioritize what is true. And so in this moment where we don't feel that we have evidence to support that God exists, you know, so the truth for us is that he doesn't. And I think there are moments, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, where it's like, why do kids get cancer? Why do babies, you know, die in infancy? It's like all of that kind of stuff where it does sort of feel like, you know, you'll thank God because you thought you lost your car keys, but they were at the bottom of your bag. And it's like, oh, God put them there. Jesus put them there. And it's like, okay, but why was that where he put his energy and not to all of these much more grave situations? And so then it becomes a question of like, even if he does exist, I don't really think he's a very good person.
Also, Alexander, I want to say that a lot of times religion has us looking for patterns that don't exist. This is like a studied thing where, you know, people are consistently seeking out patterns because they want to believe in something or they do believe in something. And so I think our minds are very powerful things. And there are plenty of things that I think happen to me all the time that I could be like, oh wow, that was God when it was just life happening. Um, yeah, that's how I think about it.
Okay.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk
Well,
about, Alexander?
um, like, do you guys think this is a mean way to think about it? Like, I feel like I get kind of desperate trying to like defend the Bible sometimes. I even like made up in my mind. I said, okay, these deaths happen to people, but every single one of these deaths is the best possible death they could have had versus the worst one. And that's kind of how I try to make myself feel better about it. Like, God did something that was actually better than the worst alternative, than something else that they would have went through had they kept going through their situation. That's how I try to justify it. But like I said, I don't try to touch on these things because they're very sensitive, and I don't like offending anybody unless they try to offend me.
Yeah.
But
No, I don't think it's offensive because it's like you're searching for an answer and truth in a very complicated, like truly what like the most complicated piece of being a theist, I think, or maybe like the most I don't know, I don't know, important part of being a theist, and I don't know. It is a big part of being a theist, like what happens to you after you die. It's like a big cornerstone of the whole thing. So I think that I understand why you're having this conversation in your head, but it is interesting that like while you're having the conversation in your head, you're like, I know this is terrible because then you're
Right.
also acknowledging that like you're having a more you're feeling more ethically and empathetically for these people than God did for those people, which is weird. You know, like
Yeah.
that shouldn't really be the case.
Yeah, and if you're reading the Bible through the lens of something like empathy and having your humanity, it's really hard to justify that stuff because you have to kind of suspend your empathy or tell yourself things like, oh, they didn't feel pain or it was good or like it was the best for them or whatever. And that's why a lot of people say that things like apologetics, like defending the Bible, is mental gymnastics because you have to do a lot of twisting and turning to make it sound good. Because typically the people reading the Bible are better people than God of the Bible. They have a better morality system or more empathetic morality system.
do
So
you,
that makes
do you guys
sense.
think, like, I'm not trying to cut you off, but like, do you think kind of like, just biologically speaking, like, part of me thinks that we're not just like on an evolutionary standpoint, we cannot understand things that we don't already know genetically. Like,
Mhm.
how can I explain it? Like a species like that's in our same, I guess, like, chimpanzees are less one. Okay, put a species in our same category, plus one or whatever. Imagine the amount of subjects that they've discovered that we just literally cannot even understand yet. Like a
Mhm.
crocodile doesn't know what right and wrong is. It can't understand it
Mhm.
because it doesn't know it. Not in its genetics. What do you guys think about that?
Well, when it comes to something like morality, we decided that for ourselves. Like, I don't think there's actually like a absolute right and wrong when it comes to morality, so I don't think that applies, but I mean, there's tons of stuff we don't know. We're very limited with our human brains.
And I
Do you guys
also,
think
this
there ever
is,
could be a subject to find God?
there could be a what to define God?
Could there be a research,
Oh,
an area of research specifically for looking for God besides
Maybe.
philosophy?
I think
Something that's kind of like a myth of science with philosophy, I
I
guess.
think I think there probably are people who have dedicated their lives to doing that because
Please don't say
it's like
Scientology.
oh maybe, but I was thinking like there probably are people who are trying to uh through science prove the existence of God, but it's 2026 and we have not gotten there. And it's interesting too, because if God wants everyone to know him, all of his children to know him, to see humans like that work so hard to be able to prove that he's real and not just give them any sign is cruel, I think.
Mhm.
But
I also
think
I also
about,
want to
I know you
mention
can't literally make yourself God, but just pretend for a minute. Which is a better test for God and his people? To trust and go based off of love and faith, or to go based off of exact like, which one do you think a God would really have more value in?
But why does he need to have value in it? Why does he need the validation?
Why does he have value why does he value love?
No, but
you
why
can
does
have love when you can know he exists and have love. But I also want to say, Alexander, that I think that religion makes God an unfalsifiable claim on purpose, so that way the religion can continue on. Because if you said, if you do this, it proves God isn't real, they'll never say okay to that, because that's where the religion ends. Do you know what I mean? So they make it unfalsifiable.
But what if all these ways to kind of go against it is actually an evil force in and of itself? I'm not trying to go that route,
Then
but I'm
that's
saying, what
then
if that
that's
actually
on
exists?
then that's on God for making it that way. That would seem like a trap to me.
you
Is
know
it a
why
trap? I mean, we make our own
Yeah.
decisions.
it does feel like a trap. It's like it's dangling a
It
piece of
feels
cake
like one,
in
but
front
is
of a
it?
person. It is. It's dangling a piece of cake in front of a person who's dieting, and then when they eat the cake, you're like, well, you ate it. And it's like, yeah, I guess, but like what options were you giving me? And also, you're the asshole for holding the cake close to my face.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
It's
I
also
don't believe in that
like
kind of God, but I can understand why you have that view of the Christian God.
Well, at the end of the day, I've asked God to show himself to me so I could keep believing, because I actually don't get to pick whether or not I believe. I just am not convinced. I'm not convinced of the
That
Christian
is
God.
true.
And I asked him to show himself, and he has yet to do it. So currently he's refusing, and there's really nothing I can do about that.
I'm not gonna lie, I called everybody else and I was like, I never called Taylor and Alyssa. I'm so happy I talked to y'all today. Y'all are awesome. That's all I had to do though.
Thanks. Well, thanks for calling.
Alexander.
Y'all have a good one.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye-bye.
Oh, he's
He was
sweet.
nice. He was nice. I'll take a nice caller like that any
Yeah.
day over one where we're yelling, but I don't know. We might be in a yelly place for this next one. The gentleman who called about body count has called back, which I'm excited about because we haven't had that conversation in like a really long time.
Yeah,
So
it's been a hot second.
So we're gonna refresh the convo. So I'm going to pull in Marshall, who is calling from Florida. Hello, Marshall.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing pretty good.
Wonderful. So tell us more about what you wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, about the body count. I'm a Christian, so basically, from my perspective, sex it's not just casual. It's sacred. And God talks about how it's a lifelong covenant, and I find that it's spiritual. But I wanted to know more about why you think that the body count doesn't matter.
Can I ask why it's spiritual? Like, what do you mean?
Well, the Bible talks about Dolly Parton's dry cunt lips, Howard Stern's penis, Baba Booey.
Oh, it's a troll. Boring. I wanted to actually have this conversation, Marshall. Boring.
Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey.
That's
all right.
so annoying. I actually wanted to have that conversation.
I feel like that only works. I feel like people do that on TikTok and their like lives get suspended, but I don't think that works here, so I don't know why.
Yeah, whatever. Marshall.
Also, how dare you disrespect Dolly Parton today? Fuck you.
On this day? How dare?
Yeah.
How dare.
F you, Marshall.
Anyway, Marshall, I don't know if you thought we were going to be offended or something, but that was just boring and a waste of my time. Anyway, we have another caller. And also, I don't believe, to clarify, in case Marshall's watching, which I'm sure he is, and fucking nutting onto his screen, because that was for him more than it was for anybody else, because no one watched that and was like, oh, it's so cool. Everyone watched it and was like, you're a loser. So as you nut off onto the screen, to be clear, I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in spiritual anything, and there's no biological way to determine whether someone is a virgin or not. So that's all.
Period.
All right. Well, let's pull in Chris, who is our last caller with perfect timing. Hi, Chris. Hello? Chris?
Yes, sorry about that. I had it on mute there for a minute. How are you guys?
No worries. We're good. I just want to give you
Good.
a heads up. We have like about 15 minutes before we have to wrap the show. So I just want to give you a heads
Yeah,
up
no problem.
before. Okay. So what did you want to talk about today?
All right. Yeah, so I mean I call in regularly. You guys probably have heard we were talking about slavery. I got cut off last time when I was talking to Taylor about it, so sorry about that. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I want to talk about the position that you guys hold. Okay, so I feel like when you state that you're an atheist, you're kind of putting yourself into a box. That there's like a level of certainty in your position. Why not just claim yourself agnostic? So, because if you're agnostic, there's more of like an open-ended. You can be swayed either way, but you're not like definitively saying, like I don't know, because I kind of feel like there's, I've said this before. I think there's like an attack on Christianity and just, what the last guy was talking about, like people staying true to each other and like marriage and purity and all that. Like I personally, I think I respect that, and it seems like, I'm kind of going off a little bit on a tangent, but yeah, if you guys can answer that question. I know you said we're kind of short on time, but why not just label yourself agnostic?
Most atheists I know consider themselves agnostic atheist, and if you go online and like Google that, you'll see a little chart that explains why people say that, like why people would refer to themselves as agnostic atheists, because typically when people say that, they mean that they don't believe there's a God, but they're not claiming to know that for certain. But typically people would just say they're atheists because it's simple and it gets the point across. But if somebody is like if I'm directly having a conversation with literally anybody, I will tell them I'm agnostic atheist, because I have never really debated, like I've debated why I don't believe in God, but again, I think the God claim is unfalsifiable. I think it's built that way on purpose. So I don't claim to know for a fact there is a God or not. There's no way for me to do that.
Okay, but my position has always been that I feel like there's kind of I think one mistake that atheists make is they want to approach God from like a scientific point of view, and I don't think that's how you find God. I think you find him through like philosophy and like looking at the derivatives of his nature and seeing them evident, and and the morality. I feel like those all. I know you said you don't believe in objective morality, but I do. I think it's something that we discover.
Yeah, well,
I think that we discovered it over time, and you said we constructed it, but I feel like it was more, similar to finding the derivatives of his nature, you know, in our universe, like the things that we're all attracted to, things that are good, and then the best. You guys would put it as like the best interest of us for our well-being. Those are the things that are good. But you know, I just think that those are all the things that point toward a God. If that makes sense.
Right. And I also want to say, I do agree that I don't think science is like proving or disproving God. I think the God claim is unfalsifiable one. I think if it was a testable thing, the religion wouldn't exist. So you have to make it unfalsifiable. But, shit, I already forgot the second thing you said. What was the last thing you said?
You forgot what I said.
Yeah, I'm not, like, my brain is fried.
Like derivatives of his nature or seen in the universe, and that's kind of like, that's how you discover God. That's how
I
Yeah.
muted myself.
discover God.
Come.
Okay, come on.
When it comes to morality, yeah, I'm not going to assume that it comes from God because we only have proof that
I'm gonna
we
kick her out.
developed it ourselves.
So you don't
That's
think
all-
we discovered these are the truths? This is what the general,
No.
you know, across
I don't-
cultures agree on. This is wrong, like, because that's how I see it. Like, but
I
we
think
all
we
would
can-
agree that. Go ahead.
I think we can discover objective ways, like I think we can discover objective harm, like things that cause objective harm. And if we care about things like harm reduction or reducing suffering, we can discover that stuff. But I think morality only comes from human beings. It's not something we discovered because I don't think we have any proof that our morality is coming from any source besides ourselves. So I don't see why I would like assume so.
Okay. I mean,
Because
I don't know. Go ahead.
Because another thing is, like, again, I think humans developed morality. I think it comes from humans because when you see an animal kill and eat another animal, do you think they're going against morality? Like they shouldn't be murdering another animal?
No, but I think that obviously animals are different in the sense that they go off instinct, and instinct and our moral compass are two different things. So you're trying to compare two things that are completely apples to oranges.
Right, but I'm saying it's not right or wrong for them because they didn't develop a morality system. We did. That's how we decided what was right and wrong. We don't say that what animals eating each other is wrong because they don't have the level of sentience to, well, I guess people could argue that animals have a morality system in like lower levels. Obviously there are levels of things. But yeah, the reason we have morality is because we have a level of sentience that we can like create that for ourselves, and animals don't have that for the most part, or on lower levels, whatever you want to say.
No, I mean, I know that because I've seen, videos of animals, and you kind of look at it and you're like, man, that's brutal. That's like a brutal way to go. But it's like, that's just, yeah, I mean, I can't really touch on that, because I've had, that's the thing is like, I'm more open to discussion. I don't want to like say definitely, that this is the way it is, and I feel like why is that the approach with atheists, because it's like,
Well,
there is
I
still
will
a level of
say-
certainty of saying like, I'm convinced there's no God, and it's like, I don't know, you're putting yourself in the box that way.
I will say, it does sort of make me giggle to say that we are not open to discussion when we do a live college show every Tuesday. And I also,
Okay.
I think, like we are open to discussion actually. And I think that, if there were an opportunity to actually prove that God existed, then I mean, really what we're relying on is what is true. And so at this time, we don't know that that is true. And so I think if the commitment that an atheist or an agnostic atheist has is to the truth, then that means it does change if we were to determine that God is real.
So let me ask you this: like, if you had a number to put on it, like a percentage, like that there's a God to there not being a God, what would you put that number on? Like, I'm just kind of curious.
Like, what percentage of me thinks there could be a God?
Yes, yeah, that there could be. I'm just saying, not a God, but I'm just saying, like, because looking at the rational intelligibility of the universe, you know, like we've been able to, like with mathematics and everything, make certain predictions. You know, like there's order and then just how we operate, our bodies operate, and you know, just looking at the complexity of life coming from very simple beginnings. You understand? Like it's like if you don't want to pin it on, the Christian God, that's fine. But just coming from a perspective that it's very like miraculous that we're here.
Yeah, but isn't
And
it
we're
more
even having a
miraculous that
conversation.
human beings did it without divine intervention? That's way more miraculous to me. Like, that's amazing.
That's giving ourselves
If
way too
God,
much. But that's giving
if
ourselves
God
way
did,
too much
but it's
credit.
the truth.
There's an
But it's the
agent.
truth. But it's the truth, and we can prove.
Go ahead.
It's the truth, and we can prove what human beings have done. And it's I don't know. I think that that's like a silly
Okay.
way to do it. Like, because why would if God can do anything, like he's capable of anything and everything, then I'm not really that impressed.
Also,
But
my answer is
human
1 to
beings-
2%.
Wait a minute. Can I touch on what you just said? What people have done is very impressive. We're operating from a mind that we still have no way of understanding or explaining, and
We understand some of
That's not
it.
true.
things can come about from these people. But you're trying to explain away the agent by you know what I mean, by explaining the mechanism. Like it's like you can't explain away what actually planted that the consciousness to make it even. You understand, like what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, so oh my gosh, I hate it when it does that. So you act as if we don't know anything about the brain, and we're learning more about the brain like all the time with science. Do we know every single thing? No. But humans are always making new discoveries. Humans are always gaining more information. So I'm confused. So there are so many things. The reason I don't think there's a high percentage, it's God, is because there's been so many things in the past that we didn't know about yet, we haven't discovered, or we didn't gain the information on it yet, that we attributed to God. One thing I always bring up is, or like God or spirituality. People used to think that seizures were demonic possession. And every single time we attribute something like that to spirituality or God or Satan or demons, when we do learn about that topic, it's never God, Satan, or demons. It's something scientific that we find out. So if that, what the heck just happened? So if that, hold on. So if that keeps happening,
okay, I'll let you.
If that keeps happening again and again and again, why would I randomly assume that this is the one time it's not gonna like that it's gonna be God randomly?
So why would I automatically assume and take the position of seizures and people being in weird trance-like states, or that science has figured it out? Okay, it's like,
wait, ask that again.
How do we? I'm just saying, like, you're resting the case on science being like the ultimate like authority of like, yes, a person that has seizures and is in weird trance-like mental states and stuff like that, schizophrenic, all that is.
You think it's
we don't
demonic
know
possession?
No, I'm just saying I don't know that there could be something else behind it.
But especially
why would you rest your case on science being the ultimate
Because that's
definitive,
the best.
Because it's provable. Because that's provable.
That's the information we have at this time. That's the best explanation we have at this time period. And if we gain more information, our science changes and we update it. That's how it works. We try and get the most information, the most information that's available to us, or whatever we can discover. And I'm basing that off of things like probability. Again, there's so many things that we attributed to God, demons, and the devil, and it ended up being something else that wasn't that. So it's more probable to believe.
Wait a minute. How do you know it wasn't the devil or some type of evil force behind it? See, I never rule out anything because it's like you can't.
Oh, I do, because I actually think I actually think that if somebody has something so terrible like epilepsy, to say that they're demonic possessed is actually really fucked up and really harmful for a lot of people. And I think that it's the same with mental health. If you're telling people that someone's struggling with schizophrenia and you're telling them that you think they're demon possessed, that's actually going to make it so much worse.
Look, there's other cases that you're not touching on. I mean, you're kind
like
of
what?
Touching on specific, seizures, but there's other cases where people have been like, that person they're not like other mentally ill people I've met. Like there's tongues sticking out and they're doing like,
but
talking,
if that were the case,
and raspy, crazy voices and speaking languages,
but I would want
saying things about the person that they never had knowledge of.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, but there's also I'll see if I could find it. There is a diagnosis that is like when people can speak a language that they've never actually learned. That is like an actual thing that happens. And they have found a way to explain it. So there is that. But however, if I had a family member who was having that level of like a what I would be experiencing as a psychological break, I would take them to a hospital. And I would not take them to a priest. Like that would be a silly, and I think if you do that, it's like neglectful. Like you would bring them to a place where they can be like truly, like if Chris, you had like someone very close to you who all of a sudden was like, I'm seeing things, I'm hearing things, I'm freaking out, and then they start talking in like a weird like language that's not a language. You'd be like, fuck, let's get you to the hospital. Like what is going on? Like that would be your first impulse. Because like you do trust the science to some degree. I mean, do you have kids? I don't remember.
Okay. I do. I have 2 daughters. Yes.
Like if it was one of your kids, I would imagine, even if you decide later you want like a priest to come to the hospital, you would take them to the hospital because you would be worried, right?
Well, let me give you, so you guys, I mean, I have friends that can acknowledge this. My ex-wife can acknowledge this. I had situations where I would just be standing in the kitchen having a conversation with somebody, feel pain on my body, pull up my t-shirt and have scratches like all over my stomach. Like I have an actual video on YouTube that I posted on there right after it happened. And my ex was saying, you could hear her in the background saying, we definitely need to like pray like over like this, because this is like nothing I've ever seen before. And I was like, so, I mean,
I do have a
question.
that
it's definitely, like, cause I looked up all these different, I was trying to find a logical explanation for it. I was like, maybe my skin, I've got sensitive skin to something. And I couldn't find anything. And then I started reading comments and people were like, I get these scratches all the time out of the blue. And they were identical to the type of scratches I was getting. So, I mean,
so I just have a question, like a last question. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I'm not going to sit here and be like, that didn't happen, but why? So like, I guess, so you have that experience, someone on the other side of the earth tells me they have an experience with a Hindu god. Why should I believe you over them? Like, why should I conclude that Christianity is true and not some other religion that people say they have their experiences with?
I look at, the reason why I'm more convinced in Christianity is because I think all the things that I kind of talked about earlier, like the morality and the derivatives of God's nature being in, and like us wanting to do good, and it's like in alignment with him, with his character.
Other
And then
religions teach that
also
too.
I think the biggest thing is that, like, as us, as being, persons with a will and everything, that God would reveal himself in a simple way, and he would reveal himself to us in some way. And that's the only religion where that's happened.
All right.
Where
Well,
he's basically been, and yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say we are running out of
That's what-
time, but if you want, you should call back next week so we can have a longer conversation. Because I think
Sure.
it's an interesting one,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you calling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's good chatting with you guys. I'll call again later, okay?
Okay,
Thanks,
sounds
Chris.
good. Have
Bye.
a good one.
All right, guys. All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay. All right. Well, at least he's nice. That's what I always say when there's like a theist like that. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
he was nice. All right, we have to zoom through our super chats, so we're gonna do them as quickly as we can. $10 from 725 Kelly Bean. Zach Baggins is the Axe body spray of the paranormal community. That's fucking hilarious. Zach Baggins is
He
the
really
one you were
is.
talking about. That's
Yes.
so funny.
That's a good descriptor of him.
Yeah.
$5 from Joshua Everett, and now I'm singing the Smash theme, which I cannot put the title of in a super chat, but can still take it or leave it if I please.
Smash theme. Oh,
MASH like the Western?
MASH, it was a TV show in the 70s. You can
Yeah.
Google
It was
We
about
can't
war,
say
I
it.
think.
Yeah, it is about war.
Oh, I'm
But
thinking of something else.
title of the theme song is the word that we use for unalive. You're unaliving yourself. Is painless. That's what the song is called, which is crazy. How did I It's so weird. £5 from Mystic Mind Analysis. Rob Halford, lead singer of Judas Priest, is a self-proclaimed gay metal pop tart, and even sang with Dolly Parton, proving she was metal as fuck.
Love that.
Love her.
$5 from Elliot K. Debate. Should cis men have the right to vote? If you're offended by this question, you're clearly a snowflake.
Thank you, Elliot. Elliot was holding my mental health in his hands during that first call. $5 from Alice in Dr. Pepper. Always good to see you two on my internet screen. Rest in peace, Dolly. We lost such an amazing woman, but she touched so many people and continues to. Hashtag Team Lux. I know Dolly is she had like so many wonderful philanthropic endeavors. She really was such a
Yeah.
giving woman.
She
Sad.
really was. $4.99 from Silly Spaghetti. Can someone ask Nathan directly what he wants? He just wants to argue against taking responsibility. I don't know his desired outcome. I don't either.
I know. That's why I was asking. I was like, I don't know. What do you want me to say? $10 from 725 Kelly Bean. Yes, their little lady brains can't comprehend the complexities of power and responsibility. Nathan's the worst. He's tough. It's a tough call to have.
$5 from Don Quixote. The issue you're running into, Nathan, is that you feel implicated because you act shitty. Want a gold star and can't be bothered. Nathan, read a book. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why he feels passionate about it.
$10 from the Atheist Mechanic. Nathan, do us all a favor and seek therapy. This call-in show is not the therapy you need. Do better, because oh my glob, your calls are so bad and frustrating.
Oh my glob.
Yeah, his calls are very frustrating.
$5 from Alice and Dr. Pepper. Pro Clutch, harder Nathan. If he blames POC and trans people for their oppression, but Africans sold black people to slave traders. Yeah, exactly.
$5 from Elliot K 1986. Intersectionality is a thing. I'm neurodivergent, but as an assigned male at birth, I had advantages over neurodivergent women, which is the real discussion.
Good point. $5 from Joshua Everett. Nathan has not let either host finish a sentence yet in this call. Also, it's not what special pleading means. Yeah, I was confused in what way he was using special pleading, to be honest, so I just ignored it.
I think he just didn't he was using examples, and then when we used examples, it was special pleading. I don't know. I would have to watch it again. I get so like flustered with Nathan that sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. $5 from Nathan, no, from Stephen E. I don't know this. Nathan just keeps avoiding the question. Yeah, sure does.
It's Michael, it's not Michelle from Oklahoma. $5. While I don't feel personally responsible for patriarchy, I cannot deny men are generally responsible. We may do some things to mitigate
Mitigate.
mitigate it remains. Yeah.
Yeah. $5 from Based Ashura. Chewed gum has become a date night staple for my boyfriend and me. I love that. It has helped spark a lot of great discussions between us. Keep at it. Oh my God, I
Oh, that's
love
really
that. That's so
sweet.
fun.
Um, $5 from Michael from Oklahoma, but I don't feel offended by anyone pointing out that I'm a man and benefit from it. It's not something to be defensive about. Take a stand against it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good attitude to have.
$4.99 from Transleona, I think. Those are probably two separate words, Transleona. Sorry. Nathan being this defensive about the patriarchy makes it his responsibility. Figures he's a Phil bro as well. Grow up, dude. I agree. That's the irony in all of it, is it's like if he was passive about it, it would feel like it's less of his responsibility, but because he's so annoyed and like activated by it, it feels like it's actually more his responsibility to look at. But
Yeah, no, I agree. $5 from Alishana Silverbow. I don't want to be held responsible for anything, Nathan, probably. I also think we
really,
have drastic definitions of what responsibility means. He was saying that
yeah.
responsibility means like punishment and like
Yeah, that's
shame,
not,
and it's like
no
that's
one said
actually
that.
not what that means, but
No one said that. Yeah, no. $5 from Based Ashra. The POC are criminals comparison is way off. POC people do not hold power in our criminal justice system as men do over women in life. I know I hated that he kept bringing that up because I was like, I mean, this is just not the same thing. And also, the main thing is people of color um have been what's the word I'm looking for? This is not the word I'm looking for,
like
but at a disadvantage their
yeah,
entire existence, at least in this country. And so it's not the same because the
right,
context is completely different, completely
right.
different.
$10 from the atheist mechanic, please, for the love of sanity, can we not take a Nathan call again? His calls never go to a good spot. It's giving Andrew from New Jersey levels of not learning and frustration. Well, I don't know if he'll ever call back anyways, because
Yeah, he seems over it. $5 from Stephen E. I'm a man, and yes, men are responsible for the patriarchy. Who wants to bet Nathan follows manosphere influencers who say women shouldn't vote? I don't know. He doesn't give manosphere.
I know he like kind of talks shit on them or like seems like he's not about that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
$5 from the Eagle fan Nathan, grow the fuck up and let go of your victim mentality.
My God, I know. Also, in the chat, I see people said the word marginalized. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. It was marginalized. Uh, 9.99 from Kyle Jins. I don't know. Oh my God, anybody watch the Andrew Wilson versus Candace Owen debate? He said all women are our word, yet he simps and works for Erica Kirk. Trad hypocrisy much. Get the fuck out of here. Love you both, Alyssa and Taylor. I have not watched the
I
actual
have. It was
debate.
a freaking
You
dumpster
did.
fire.
Yeah. Should I watch? Is it like funny to watch though?
Okay, it literally went exactly how I thought it would go, which Candace's entire thing is conspiracy theories, and she's very, very good at that grift. So
Hmm.
I knew she was gonna win. Like I just knew she was because he also didn't prepare at all, which I expected.
Of
He's
course.
not
I
a good
saw
debater.
I saw a little bit of like Hassan's watching it, like him watching it, and then I saw like that little clip, and there was a comment that was like, Andrew must be a communist seeing how he likes to be publicly owned, and I thought that was very funny.
And imagine like losing a debate that you spent like what $300,000 on. That's crazy
What a
work, but
fucking loser. He's just he's the
he is a
biggest
loser.
loser. Can we just like remember that the Whatever podcast was trying to get me and Promise on their podcast for like a year?
That's so embarrassing.
Anyway.
$5, not for you guys, but for them. They're
Yes.
lame. $5 from Red Potato. It's only alienating because it offends him personally. Maybe.
$10 from Texas Panhandler. Nathan, just admit that you want to be treated like the good boy your mommy said you are. May as well be asking for them to pat you on the forehead and tell you you're a good one.
$10 from Melissa. Allow Me to Assist the Patriarchs by Angela Saini.
Oh, I've never heard of that book. $5 from Nikki. I think Nikki. Nathan, changing the language does not change the fact that men are the reason for the patriarchy. I don't know what hill you're trying to die on. Thank you. What the fuck hill are you trying to die on? I don't understand.
$5 from Michael from Oklahoma. When feeling accused and defensive, reflect on yourself. Honestly, think about where it might be true, where it's wrong. Change anything needed. Repeat. Yeah, good advice.
Yes, it's like the whole thing of like all feedback is neutral. It's like how it lands with you that's important, and that tells you more information than anything. So that feels like that applies here. $10 from Real Marcus Holloway. When will men get a fair deal in this country? Nathan. Yeah. Unfortunate.
$10 from One-Eyed Weirdo. Nathan's logic is that if you cannot argue past technicalities that aren't directed topical, you are beholden to constantly adjust yourself to make men read him feel comfortable. Oh, yeah. You're not wrong.
Yeah. $5 from Uncooked Toast. The most insulting part of Nathan, besides all his words, is he's Canadian. Don't use the show as therapy, especially when you have universal health care.
That is a funny joke. $10 from Chris Powell. Nathan sounds like Nathan Fielder without the charm.
Yes.
I love Nathan Fielder. If it's who I'm thinking of, right? The comedian.
Yeah. Okay. Like Nathan for you. So fucking
yes.
Yeah, he does. $9.99 from PXS, what DD? No. In a system where emotions are shunted. I don't know if that's the word you meant to use. To the realm of the feminine, denying men emotional expression is anti-feminine and therefore a form of misogyny. I think I agree. Yes, it is. You're right.
I do too.
I agree. Sorry, took me a second, but I agree.
$9.99 from Josiah Grenweld. I don't know. Had to send $10 for the mental exhaustion that Nathan put y'all guys through because that was stupid. Oh man, thank you. We appreciate you.
$5 from Joshua Everett. People like Nathan want to feel like they are accomplishing anything at all while remaining as close to zero effort and utility as possible.
$10 from Mo. When someone says that they used to be an atheist, it reminds me of when I was a devout non-stamp collector. Make it make sense. Hashtag Halloween. Hashtag Mike Wazowski.
Wazowski.
What is that?
I don't know. I was Mike Wazowski for Halloween like a few times on Chewed Gum. So maybe that's what it's about. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Jesus increases and supports global warming. That's why he's helping everyone find their car keys. Vroom, vroom. Yes.
$5 from Alishana Silverbow. They say there's a person capable of murder in every friendship group. I suspect it was Dave, so I ended him before he could cause any harm. Is that statistic true? I have not. I feel like that'd be way too many, but maybe depending on how many friends you have.
Oh, that's funny. I don't think that could be real. $4.99 from Keiko. If you haven't seen how Canada's dating coach handles the body count issue with incels, it's worth a watch. Oh, I started watching that. I need to finish it. It's a Jubilee video.
Oh, okay. $5 from Joshua Everett. Anyone going to check the scary movie Buddy when it comes out this week? I don't think I've heard of that one.
Oh my God, it looks so good. It's like a kids show, and Buddy is basically like a Barney type character, and it's like a horror movie.
Oh,
so
God.
I don't know. This is a lot. What are you doing? Anyway, the answer to that question is yes. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. I had a German teacher / former minister in high school. If a student, said, "Oh God," I guess he'd shout, "God's not here." No trash cans. Oh, 2 trash cans. God, are you in here? Where are you? That's really funny.
$5 from Dusk Frame. Chris is medieval peasant maxing.
That's hilarious. I love that. Also, whatever happened to the bingo game you guys used to play? That was fun. $10 from Moira Bannister. $10 for Alyssa's hair on fleek. Thanks so much. This is my like natural wavy situation. It was too
It
hot
is so
to do
cute.
it. Thanks.
$5 from Legally Mod. I think Nathan has trouble socializing because people's cats tend to go missing after he's seen petting them a lot.
Oh. 10 Canadian dollars from Pureform 42. I'm listening to the super chats and getting annoyed all over again. LOL, great show. You both did so well. Thank you. That's really funny.
You. $5 from Elliot K. Nothing else to say. This is just having to deal with Nathan. You are both awesome. Thank you, Elliot.
Thanks. I think that's all of our super chats. Okay. Well, we are way over time. Well, not way over, but we're over time. So you'll be directed over to Ari and I think Jovan or Jimmy, Jovan. So stick around and you'll get a whole nother show. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for the super chats. Thank you to Lux for producing and our mods in the chat and being with us through another Nathan call.
Now I need to go watch the Buddy trailer, but I'm kind of scared.
Oh, it looks so weird.
I will go see it.
Okay.